second show for today, which is It's Dangerous to Go Alone, a celebration of cooperative speedruns. I'm your host, Frozen Flagon, and I am so excited for our upcoming run. It's going to be Borderlands 2 co-op all main quest. We got a trio of really talented Borderlands 2 runners here. Before I get into that, I have a handful of announcements to remind you all about. The first one, which, I'm a bit biased, but I'm super excited about it. Flame Fatales will be having its next all-women speedrunning event, Flame Fatales, from August 21st to 27th. The marathon schedule is out now, so type !FF in chat or go to gamesdonequick.com/FlameFatales for more information. And prize submissions to that marathon are also open now, so you can go to the website and check out information on how to submit prizes to the event. One and Done-a-thon is coming up August 13th through 14th. We just had Amy on the show, one of the leaders of One and Done-a-thon. Super excited about that. Marathon where you can show off your favorite run, and that's your only appearance in the series. The schedule is also out now for that, so you can use !OADAT in Twitch chat to learn about that schedule. So we have plenty of awesome runs coming up for those two events. And it's just about time for our Borderlands 2 co-op all main quest run. I've got the trio of runners here. Y'all want to introduce yourselves? How's it going?
Doing great. So welcome everyone to Borderlands 2. Thank you so much for flying on for the introduction. We're going to be doing all co-op all quests for this. So quick introductions. I'm ZZRules21.
I'm Unjust Action.
And I'm Deceptix.
So quick housekeeping things before we get started. We're going to be playing on patch 1.3.1. It's not the current patch of the game. There are a lot of glitches in this run that Gearbox patched out in current patches that we down patched to so that we can abuse them and utterly destroy this run. So we should be all set to get started. We have a quick little cutscene after we get started, but we can keep talking through there. So, Unjust, if you're ready for a countdown.
All right, yeah, we'll get going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, so Borderlands 2 was just in GDQ, but that was a completely different category. It was the geared New Game Plus category. This one's going to be a New Game category. And Flygon, you were actually the host for that run. What did you think of the run at GDQ?
I was incredibly impressed by just the amount of movement that was going on throughout it and how y'all stay calm during when everything's flying around. I don't typically play first-person games, and so it's just impressive y'all are just zipping around while keeping control of your character. And I'm sure this run is going to be, just as impressive in that way.
Have you seen anything co-op for BL2 yet?
Mm-mm.
No? You're in for a treat, bud.
Yeah, this run's a little bit different. I say a little bit. It's a lot of bit different from the geared run. And you'll see a different type of quick movement throughout the entire game.
So we have a little bit of cutscene that we have to wait for Claptrap to talk for us to get going. But once he finishes, we can start running forward. He has a couple triggers throughout that we have to hit, so we'll just escort him.
Yeah, this game starts off broken actually instantly. If you are an off-host player and you swap and drop guns really quickly, you can actually duplicate them. This has many various different effects that we'll get into in a little bit. But right now, it's mostly just so that I can make multiple versions of the same gun.
This episode said that any off-host character can do that. I am also an off-host character, so I can do the exact same thing. And just duplicate the same with one weapon. A lot of different side effects, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, and all three of you are doing different characters, right? And there's the specific reasons for why you've selected those characters?
Yep. Decep and I are the office characters, and we're playing Axton for a specific Axton glitch that we'll get to a little bit later. And then Unjust is playing Gage, who is the best host character. So we can duplicate weapons off host if we can hold them, but if we can't hold the weapon, like with this Echolog that Unjust and Decep are trading, we can't duplicate it, so they're setting up a different method to duplicate the Echolog. It can skip dialogue, so Claptrap immediately finishes his line and the cutscene starts, and with whenever Unjust kills Decep, he'll get the Echolog back because of the duel. So it's a way that we can duplicate weapons that we can't hold. So we'll turn in the story quest, and I actually hit a save through a wall. And by doing that, we can save quit and skip a whole bunch of animations and dialogue.
Wow. Very cool.
So right here, Unjust is gonna run ahead, do some following Claptrap, as we'll do for a lot of the early game, unfortunately. But I actually joined as a different character, or a new character, actually, and dropped their echo. Each time you start a new game with one of the 4 base game characters, they have an echolog in their backpack. And just like Unjust and I did to skip dialogue at the beginning, or at the beginning of this run, we can use it later on in other different portions. So it's important that we keep these echoes and use them when they are needed.
So one of the other side effects of duplicating these weapons is you can transfer implicit weapon stats from the gun onto your character. So the sniper rifles that I'm duplicating have an extra 160% critical hit damage. Every time I dupe these guns, I get that 160% added onto my character. This gets very broken very, very quickly. So you'll see with the combat that Unjust has been doing, his crits are doing 247 damage, and we'll see we have another combat section coming up soon. My crits are going to do upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 damage.
Just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. So a lot of waiting for catch up early on.
And one thing that I will be doing at the early game is a glitch called double shotting. Basically, it just removes the fire rate cap of like single bolt guns like the sniper rifle. If you shoot, reload, and then melee and shoot at the same time, you can basically shoot 2 bullets at the speed as that you shoot one. I'll be doing this throughout the early game, and the Sep will do a slight variation with it on in a little bit, but it's just a slight DPS increase, and it's only really useful throughout the early game.
So
again,
and then right here,
yeah, same
skip
dude.
more dialogue.
Skip fight.
And start the next boss. So with all the crit damage that I've been duping, we'll see the first boss of the game. And he's done.
Goodbye.
it's a boss, kind of.
First boss.
And then I'm gonna pick up the eye that Knuckle Drago dropped right there, and then save quit, load back in, save quit again. And what this will do is we'll push Claptrap up the hill at the end of the map. Typically, what you're supposed to do there is just kind of wait for him to walk up, and that takes about a minute. But instead, we can save quit out and then run back through the area, which only takes about 45 seconds.
So because he's able to do that, we can also start joining it as a different character in Maya and start accumulating some of these echo logs. The way that the rules work for the game is all characters have to be in for all objectives. And during this section, there's no objectives that are being completed. So we have time to do this while we're just kind of waiting.
And then we'll be using the echoes they drop for dialogue skips later.
Executing phase shift. You're welcome. Perks of being an artificial...
We've been talking about how there's a variety of like the glitches and manipulations you all are doing. How difficult were those to like learn and get used to?
Borderlands as a game isn't too mechanically challenging. It's a lot of learning the routes and learning the different quirks of the game, and actually executing them in the run. That's probably the more difficult part of it, is just the execution rather than learning these glitches.
That makes sense.
The glitches are actually very easy to perform. Learning when to do them and what's the right time is where it gets difficult.
Sure, absolutely. Using them in context.
So we save code a little to right there to kind of bypass some of the co-op travel times. The game added in a timer for co-op games, co-op runs, where if you travel, there's a little countdown to make sure everyone's ready to travel. And we can bypass that because there's no objectives happening. If you're getting a little tired of some of the save quitting, don't worry. We're ideally going to stop save quitting in about 30 seconds. So
right here, we're just save quitting at the main menu, just a bit of dialogue and some animations, and we'll do that one more time. And then ideally, like ZZ said, that will be the last save quit of the run.
yeah, so here's actually a fun combat section, and probably the most coordinated we're going to be throughout the run. We have to clear this wave as fast as possible. Destep and I stay back and snipe from a distance while Unjust moves forward to get a better angle on some enemies that we can't get from back here. So really quick right there.
Probably the most coordinated fight.
So a little bit more of just kind of escorting NPCs. It's probably the slowest part of the early game, but once we get into it, the run takes off.
And it takes off and it doesn't really stop for the good long while.
Apologies, but when Claptrap speaks, I feel my brain cells committing suicide.
And I suppose
So then,
for comparison's sake, if you were going to try and do all the quests on your own by yourself, how long would that take compared to how long?
So the current record for solo all quests is about 4.5 hours in-game time.
Yeah.
And the current record for co-op is 2 hours, 24 minutes.
That's huge. That's
It's
a
a
huge
massive...
difference. So we're
yeah.
going to see why we have such a huge difference.
Yep.
You know, with the dividing and conquering objectives.
Yep, as well as some co-op specific glitches that you can't do solo.
Oh, cool.
Go. So right here, we're gonna time a travel out to travel out right after we complete this objective. Typically what we would do there, or what we used to do, is we would save quit. But once you first load into the game, there is a global timer running in the background, which lasts about 20 minutes. And if we save quit, we would reset that global timer. And basically, we need that timer to tick over at a particular point. And so we just travel out and travel back there to basically have that timer just continue ticking a little bit longer.
Yep, previously, the early game was slow enough that you could save quit there. But as we've gotten faster and sped up the category, the in-game time, at the time that the timer's running from save quitting, is actually too short that we're about a minute behind, and we'd have to wait for a minute. So just a little change. We'd lose about 5 seconds, but as a result, we save a little bit later. So this is the first section of Dividing and Conquering that we're going to be doing. Right now, Unjust is doing some of the side quests in Myersburg. I'm going to be escorting Claptrap and pushing him through the story, while Decep is going to be doing a little bit of out of bounds to get to a further point in the story that we can't access right now.
So this map is normally split up into 2 sections. The main story quest actually opens up the other half of this map a little later on, but it's slow to wait for that to happen. So I'm going to do a little out of bounds in a second here to actually reach the other side of the map before we're supposed to. So instead of doing the running after you open up the second half, I can already start doing that while Unjust and ZZ do the other side, or do the story here, along with a couple other side quests.
All 3 of the enemies chasing after you.
We love psychos. Anyway, this wall doesn't exist, so I can just walk right through it and then fall down here.
Classic.
There's a save station right over across here. There's actually an invisible wall right here where the rocks are, but we can hit the save through the wall, which means I can death warp straight through it.
And this is actually a strat that's sped up the early game for all co-op runs by a significant margin, upwards minute and a half or so. So I'm still doing the story quest, just a lot of combat sections. And you can sort of see Outpost doesn't function. It's probably the best way of putting it. On both the Decep and my screens, you're going to be seeing some wonkiness, might be the best way of putting it. That's just normal off-host in the series. So if you see something weird, that's probably intended.
Yeah, another thing with duping is that it like affects our accuracy in multiple different ways, either good or bad, depending on what weapons we are duping. So our bullets won't exactly go where we want them to most of the time.
And one thing to note about early game is that, or just co-op runs in general, I guess, is that there's a feature in this game called spawn locking, where basically there's only a certain number of enemies that can be on the map at any one given time. And as you can imagine, since we're all split up quite heavily throughout the co-op run, this is a huge issue. So throughout the run, we'll be constantly trying to clear spawns, making sure that everyone has what they need to finish the quests.
Is there like a certain radius where the enemies will despawn, or if they show up, they're there and you need to take them out?
They'll despawn at a certain point,
Okay.
but it takes a decent amount of time. It's not instant.
Sure.
So most of the time it is just faster to either kill them or just hope they don't spawn in the first place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that was the second boss. 3 shots, 3 kills. So I'm gonna finish this. I have to shoot this gate, which opens up the second half of the map that Decep is already at. So,
So
he should
instead of
be
doing all
around
the running
next-
that I just did, so instead of doing that now, I did it beforehand, so that I'm already at the next needed objective.
So if you see us scoping in a lot, just like quickly, the game has aim assist that we use and abuse. It's very, very strong. So we'll see us scoping in quickly just to lock onto the enemies.
Aim assist is such a blessing, especially in
Yes.
something like this.
Yeah, it's just a matter of doing stuff quickly. So whatever tools the game gives us to do it quickly, we're gonna use. So I just hit level 6. I'm gonna try and kill a couple more enemies so that Decep can hit level 6 as well. And this
I
is
need
where the
one
game
more.
starts
Thank
to
you.
get this is where the game is going to get incredibly, incredibly broken for Decep and I. So I just spec'd into a skill called Expertise. It's a skill where if you aim down the sights of a gun, you have an extra like 7% movement speed. However, the game does not track this very well off-host. So I will scope down and drop my gun, and the game doesn't recognize that I dropped my gun. Can I down, by the way?
Yeah, you're good. You can bleed as well.
So do you just have like permanent zoomies now? Is that what
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
So it's not going to be as noticeable right now, but as we move in about 3 or 4 minutes, you're going to start seeing it get really, really ridiculous.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Also, one thing to note right there, what I just did is something known as a quest skip, which is our main form of dialogue skipping in this game. Basically, every side mission, or every mission in the game in general, has a very high priority line of dialogue at the start of that mission, just kind of detailing what you're supposed to be doing and the objective of it. And so that line will kind of basically interrupt most other lines of dialogue in the game. There's a few exceptions, but typically they'll interrupt most dialogue. And so what we can do is if we get that line of dialogue underneath another line of dialogue, we can preserve it for later. So I just did one there, and so now we have a quest in our backpack, which we can select to play a really high priority line of dialogue at any given time, basically. And we can do that with basically every side quest in the game. And there's about 35 of them throughout the run.
Nice.
So right there, you might have noticed I didn't kill that boss instantly, like every other boss seemed to die. Because what I did is actually called Flint Manip. If you kill Captain Flint at a very specific time, the burning psychos that spawn from this location right here will actually hit Claptrap's move trigger early. Normally you have to clear this wave fight before Claptrap will start opening this door and allowing you to leave. But we don't have to do that. Saves like a minute. That combat is not very fun. And it also allows us to skip a line of dialogue.
Yeah, I'm back at the start of the map picking up echoes for one quest, which are just lines of dialogue sitting on the ground essentially, so we can use that to skip a bit of dialogue at the end of the map here.
So we could theoretically move on to the story at this point, but there are a couple things we need to do back in Southern Shelf still. We need to kill the Boom Boom boss a couple more times for a little bit of extra XP. And then there's also a side area for a side quest that we need to go to complete. And now's just the perfect time to route it in. So you can sort of start seeing the effects of the expertise stacking. I get here a lot faster than you probably would normally. Will that be fun?
No, go again. Oh, he's still in the cannon. All right. A case of off-host hitboxes.
And one other thing to note that I will be doing throughout the early game is something called drop reloading. Basically, whenever a gun is on the ground, in the world, it will have a full magazine, and so you can drop your gun out of your hands and then immediately pick it back up just to skip the reload animation.
So we're in this area for
Is it-
one side quest, one boss that I'm running to now. So go. And the side quest is done. 2 more bosses.
Nice.
And then
How many quests are
Balloon's
there in
actually-
total? Do you know that number?
I think it's 120.
Wow.
Ish, around
It's
that
around
ish.
120, yeah.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, of course, they're like different lengths and stuff and different importance, but that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, a few of them are quest chains as well, so there's like 5 quests in one, but it's each of them is still like their own respective quest.
All right, so now we're continuing with the main story. Disep and I are now very, very fast. We're gonna run through and hit the save point to my right, and Unjust is gonna death warp to it so that he's at the car station immediately.
It's gonna be a
and then
common
right
theme
here-
is the gauge death warping.
Yeah, and then right here, I just jumped around a gigantic invisible wall, which allows me to access the other side of this map that we're not supposed to be at yet. Again, skipping or doing some running a little bit earlier than waiting, which is very nice.
And
I
then just
missed the
did
jump.
something.
Remember that one. You should now be able to deconstruct a car from any
Calculated.
station.
Calculated.
Or use one to jump that gap.
So one thing Deceptic's is going to do is he's going to spawn a car at the other end of the map, and you can teleport to cars from the car stations in this game. So I'm going to use that just to get to where the next objective is, and then he can run off and do some other stuff.
Just a sec. Roland wanted to talk to you.
That will be used a few times throughout the run as well.
So you're the one I've been here.
Nolan's
So I'm gonna keep finishing with the main story. We're gonna also do the first instance of scroll interacting. I have interact bound to mouse wheel down. For some NPCs, if you talk to them twice in the same tick,
We're to keep the gate closed until you
then you can just skip all their dialogue, which I messed up.
rescue. We're to keep the gate
Yeah,
closed.
there we are. There's a couple instances, it's not every NPC,
We're to keep the gate closed.
but whenever we can do it, it saves a significant amount of time.
He was one of the first Crimson Lancemen I recruited.
You only use it in a handful of places, and it saves like about a minute and a half total or something throughout the run. So it's quite useful. You might just think, oh, well, whenever you need to talk to anybody, just scroll skip them. It only works in very niche places, so it's not the most useful, but still quite nice to have.
Okay, so here we're going to use those quests that we picked up before to skip some dialogue. And now we can place the cord instantly.
And then one thing I'm going to do here is cap my FPS. This game works really weird with FPS. The terrain breaks at high FPSs, and so this NPC, Jessup here, is supposed to open the gate for us, and he just moves quicker at 30 FPS. 3, 2,
We're gonna do
1,
something difficult
go.
here. Oh,
Oh.
I'm not in mine, by the way.
Hyperion? I heard all of you were robots and you eat metal out the garbage and stuff. Knew you wired death machines be come for me once Roland went missing. Now, if you're here to kill me, you should probably know. You'll
Is that
never
pretty
get me
yours?
alive, you robotic son of a bitch!
Why?
Could I have a refund, please? This gun doesn't seem to work.
I don't know. Looks like it.
Okay, I'm not in mine. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Minute. Ha! Well,
Hey, Vault Hunter.
Didn't work. Hit yours.
Okay.
Oh, it didn't work?
No, I don't know what
Alright,
happened.
Son, this might sting a bit.
So typically what we're supposed to do there is try to get all these cutscenes to play at the same time. It didn't work out too well. It's just unfortunate, but
We'll have a normal sanctuary at some point.
now you gonna help us out with this Roland situation? I heard
Okay, so there's a lot of just kind of go here, do this in Sanctuary. It's going to happen. So we're doing as much of that as over top of each other as possible.
Floating-ass fortress of airborne awesomeness. B. I got some fuel cells around here. You'll need those. Oh, and you'll need this iridium here too. Hey, thanks for grabbing on the Vault Hunter.
And then there's a couple things we can do throughout here that we can skip some dialogue to speed things up. This up's doing a side quest right now. While we're progressing the story.
Sanctuary has been targeted by 4 Hyperion spies masquerading as
Yeah, it is already amazing how fast y'all are moving. Does it like continue to accelerate or does it like reach a cap at some point?
Disep can probably describe it a little bit better. But there's I got mine, so we're good to go whenever.
All right.
There's acceleration and there is a speed cap, especially whenever you're in the air. So we're gonna try and stay on the ground as much as possible.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, the best way to put it is while we're stacking expertise, we're not stacking our overall acceleration. We're stacking our like speed cap.
I have a Mongol.
So, so like while we're actually stacking, we're not instantly getting the speed. It still takes us a bit to accelerate, just like it would if you were normally sprinting. So,
Sure.
it's about
Very
it.
cool.
I'm on my 5th Mongol right now. So this is one of the RNG quests. There is a lot of RNG in this game, but this is one of the few instances where the quest itself has RNG in it. We're kind of at the mercy of what enemies spawn to complete this quest. I got all of one type of enemy, which is good and bad, but that actually went really well.
Yeah, I got
was
4
really well, yeah.
slingers. So you got all the Mongolets, I got all the slingers. It worked fine. It worked.
That's weird.
All right, so this is one of the more fun action movements. There's a lot of tight quarters. I'm taking a detour to get a weapon in a puddle. Don't worry about it. It's a really, really good weapon, and it's the reason that we wanted to hit level 8 at a specific time. Giuseppe is running through the area to get to the story part of the quest. And Andros and I death warp to get closer there to the main story quest.
And then during this cutscene, I rebind to scroll interact. I will be scroll interacting on Lilith here. Just skip a few lines of dialogue.
And you'll be able to actually see how it works this time.
Other quest.
Help me up.
So I'm going to duplicate this weapon so that everyone has a copy of it. Theoretically.
I do have 1. So,
Perfect. There's more.
okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, they did come big. All right.
You're looking for Rolo.
Anyway, there's a scroll skip on Lilith. That one not only skips dialogue, but also some animations. That one's a little weird, interesting. We don't know why any of the scroll skips work, but that one's even more interesting than the rest. And then at this point, Unjust and Zizi are going to take care of the wave fight while I run back through the map that I just blitzed through to get us a little bit more XP so that we can hit level 10 at a certain time.
So, I'm just going to handle the main ads, the base enemies, but there are a couple of enemies that have a chance of spawning as badasses. Some of them are guaranteed, but some are just a chance. And since I have all the crit damage, it's perfect. I have all the crit damage. It's usually better for me to kill the badasses. So while we're doing this, I'm just running. He's also checking for some chests. At level 10, we need certain weapons to spawn, and they have a chance of spawning in this area. So this up is checking while we do this to hopefully alleviate some RNG.
And one thing I'll be doing throughout the section is whenever I need to reload, I'm opening my backpack and then swapping weapons. Likewise, with guns on the ground, having a gun in your backpack also has a full mag. We're on badasses, by the way.
All right.
So I can just equip a gun in my backpack rather than having to reload. We're done, go whenever.
And then one more scroll interact. Skips all of Lilith and we can turn it immediately.
The vault opened, my siren.
Yeah, typically you have to wait for all of Lilith's dialogue here to finish before you can turn the quest.
No idea why. Now let's talk
And then
about rescuing my boyfriend.
one slight optimization you can do is in between ticks, you can turn in missions here. You're not supposed to be able to travel when in a menu, but the game only checks for players in a menu every second. So if you can do it in between those travel ticks, then it won't kick you out. We'll be doing that all throughout the run.
Yeah, pretty much every time you hear the click, that's the only time it checks if you're in a menu. So as long as you aren't in a menu when the click happens, it won't cancel the travel timer.
That's really interesting. There's so much like small nuances that end up making a huge difference in this kind of run.
Yeah, and
Yeah, the
it's like
travel
that
timer
throughout
thing.
most of the series.
Yeah.
Nothing too overtly difficult, but a lot of slight optimizations that save you a lot of time. So this area, we have a little bit of story that we have to do, but the main thing that we're going to be doing right now is one of the side quests that unlocks the fast travel station for this area. We're split up in 3 different areas, and this is where spawn locking can go really, really poorly, because we need certain spawns to drop the mission items. So I hit a trigger, and then most of my job is just kill enemies so that Giuseppe can get his spawn. And then once he gets his spawn, he's going to be killing enemies so that I get my spawn. So just got his spawn.
Is it weird when I notice the moment you pick something up? You don't have to see it in the bathroom.
There we are. I just got my
You're
spawn.
good. Just-
Well, best kill that
And-
so you get that part you need.
This part, there it is.
You went and found the gearbox.
You go.
Man, those gearboxes sure are the cats.
So we finished that, and then by finishing this quest, the fast travel station activates, so we'll be able to use it later on in the run.
Finally made it to the dust, huh? You've been off the echo for hours. Thought you might have got brain or something. But you ain't, so.
So here, Giuseppe went for a trick. Cutscene starts, and after the cutscene, we need to talk to Ellie to progress the story. But she exists in world, so if we run fast enough, we can just ram right into Ellie and talk to her before the cutscene even starts, which saves a lot of time.
Is the neck gonna work?
Oh,
Dang.
Haley! See you there.
Yeah.
It's that
anyway,
rock.
talk to Ellie before the cutscene, which skips her dialogue, and hopefully means the first car is what we like to call real and actually drops a car part.
I think so. It is. It's kind of stuck
Okay.
here. Yeah, it is real. It's
All right,
like,
cool,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, where we're at in the story, Roland's captured, and we need to infiltrate a stronghold, and we need to sort of Trojan horse our way in with one of their own cars. So we're stealing their cars parts so that we can do so.
She make fun of the way she looks. I have to tie you to a
We're fast enough that we can sort of outrun the cars, Giuseppe and I, which is why we're just kind of shooting these cars with bullets. But Unjust kind of needs a little help with the car.
The cars still hurt us, like a lot.
Yeah,
They're still quite
yeah,
painful.
just a little.
Just a few more charred bandits from having a ride that'll fool those blood shots.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't need the spawn anyway. No, it's... Oh, there we go.
Roland can handle whatever the bloodshot's dish out, but generally don't
Everything's
let
fine.
them get tortured any longer than a half.
We already have them. I picked it up. I actually heard Unjust this time. You can go.
You got the parts.
So anyway, now
so
we're
right here,
level 10.
we're gonna make a little bit of. We're gonna make a bit of a detour back to Sanctuary. We need 2 guns, and they can only one of them can only start spawning at level 10. So at level 10, we come back to Sanctuary and check vendors for them.
Got it.
Yes.
And I go for sniper.
Long rider.
Not hunt scattergun.
Coach, I have everything.
All right, cool.
It's not a good fire gun, but it's a fire gun.
I'm going. Grab your stuff.
Hold. Yeah, you're good.
Did you dupe guns or? Yep,
I did. Yeah, cool. All right, not hectic at all.
There's always a chaotic section. So we just got a
Seems
flat
like
off
it.
rocket launcher. And it's where another part where the game is just going to break wide open. Flat off rocket launchers have a property where they consume reduced ammo per shot. And the way that that's coded is a -1 ammo consumption. So we get to that free shot, and if we just swap away back and forth while we're on that free shot, we can stack it onto our character, and now I have infinite ammo.
looks like one of ours. Let him in while
Oh, I did not get a Vlad off. Apparently.
You'll get one or something. I guess.
I don't need it till after Warden.
Oh,
so
yeah. I'll,
All right.
okay, I'll be fine, I think.
Drop one in Rampart's return or Bloodshot return. Like when we travel back at yeah.
Yeah, it just screws my infinite ammo.
So at this point,
sure.
I'm going to rebind interact to the scroll wheel. Just like we can skip dialogue, we can actually skip some animations. More importantly, this drawbridge likes to really take its time unless I interact on it multiple times, in which it just instantly falls. Normally that's like a 5 to 7 second animation, but it just happens instantly instead.
Yeah, so the first priority is really big. It's the reason why we travel out at Hammerlock, because if we're too fast, the shot funders don't cycle, so we don't get level 10 weapons. So here's another really crazy part. So just
And one
doing
thing
it
I can do now. Sep is doing it at events to skip to the other map.
So watch his screen, and it's going to be really awesome whenever he gets it.
First grenade decided to
Oh, unfortunately.
not exist. Oh well. I can do a slightly less cooler version of it, but we can grenade jump back and bounce right here, and pretty much skip an entire map that would has a lot of wave fights in it actually.
Oh, very cool. I see. That was neat.
Anyway, that's the end of the map.
And one thing I will be doing from this point on for the rest of the run is I now have my shoot key on mouse wheel down, and I have a hyper scroll wheel mouse. So the reason we wanted Jacob Shotgun in combination with our Vlad-off rocket launcher is that Jacob Shotguns can fire as fast as you can pull the trigger. So you can imagine with infinite ammo and shoot bound on a hyper scroll wheel mouse, this can get pretty ridiculous. So I'll be basically shooting at the fire rate cap for the rest of the run. Just kind of fun. We got a machine gun shotgun.
Yeah, there's wow. Okay, I see what you mean.
Also, I have a skill called Close Enough, where if my bullets hit a surface as opposed to an enemy, they will have a 50% chance to ricochet towards an enemy. So I can also just shoot the floor, and everything around me will kind of fall over.
This is the reason why this has been gauged.
This is why
Yeah.
it's gauged.
Do you have a fire gun, Giuseppe?
I do. Actually, no, I don't.
Okay, I got one.
All right. I had one, but I got rid of it. Come on, yeah, it's normal, you know. You can't expect me to have a fire gun. That's not how that works.
So this is another part of really fun action movement. Again, a lot of tight quarters. It's been just described as trying to fly a jet. Oh, I can't remember the...
A jet down a hallway.
Engine down a hallway.
Jet engine down a hallway, yeah.
Go.
And so-
another boss.
That's
Another
a
boss. And we time a travel out. Say that 5 times fast. Basically, that just skips a little way fight at the end of the map. There's no objectives for it, so if you just travel out and travel back, you skip it.
All right, now I finally have infinite ammo, so now I can be cool like the rest of my co-op partners.
If we got binary, by the way. On our guns.
Of course.
Of course we did. Apparently it's not an issue, so we're fine. We just need a
Oh, we
Hyperion
need
sniper. That's not dull stock. Right. So we're back in Sanctuary. We're going to grab a couple side quests. And then we're actually going to take a detour from the main story and do a little bit of a... do a little bit of a side quest right now.
It's the reason that we've been so frantic about making sure we have fire weapons. This is a quest where we need to burn enemies, but usually whenever these quests happen, the game's good about giving us a fire weapon, but not this case. So we need our own fire weapon so that we can burn these enemies. I have two.
I do it myself, but they freak out if they saw their gun.
I didn't get that
Interesting.
one. I have two.
Do you not have infinite ammo?
No, the game decided to not... I shot before a area travel, and the game decided that I didn't shoot, so...
I have three.
You know, kind of a skill issue. I have 3.
Yeah, go to script.
This is fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Anyway, that's why we needed a fire gun. There's a lot better options for different fire guns, but it's just all up to luck in what we actually get.
Firehawk spoke to me in a dream and demanded
So this is one of the...
And so
Oh, good.
one kind of unfortunate thing about being the host is I don't really get backpack space. You only start with 12 backpack space, and all those echoes Deception ZZ got at the start of the run, I'm kind of been hoarding them for dialogue skips later. There's also a quest about halfway through the run where I need to have 5 shields in my backpack. And then I also just need to have a few guns in my backpack, like my Vlad-off, so I can do all the glitches and everything for damage. And so my backpack management is not so fun.
You gotta hold my book. I do think.
gotta hold
I
your
do
book.
Thank you for that. I need to write in that journal later.
And the reason I get to hold all the echoes is because they got to menu around snipers and stuff for crit damage.
When you were starting to learn this run together, how did y'all decide like who was gonna do what and who's gonna do what character and stuff?
It's actually a funny way that we did it. I live far away from both of them, so they did not want me to be host. So that eliminated one of them. And I think the other one was, I think Decep just had experience with Axton.
No,
I think
Unjust
that's
only
it.
had one mouse.
Ah,
So
that's
Unjust
what it
couldn't
was.
be an Axton because Unjust only had one mouse. So,
Oh, that's funny.
so that's how we figured that out. And when it came to actually doing certain quests, it's basically what did we know with prior knowledge? How did like what did we know about this game before we started running this? And then that's what your job is, pretty much.
That's
I think
fun.
at the time, Desep might have had solo record, so he knew a lot more. And I don't think I've done a solo run.
Sure. All right, that's really neat. I was just curious, like how it worked out.
Right, so we
And
just
so
skipped the
here
cutscene right
we're,
there.
yeah, we time a travel at, and skipping this cutscene means that basically an NPC won't spawn, and he's supposed to kind of like help you out throughout the area, help in sarcastic quotations because he's just a pain. There's certain enemies we need for the certain missions, and he will shoot them, and it will just mess us up. So despawning him is very helpful, along with just saving time because it skips the cutscene.
So I tried to do the same thing we did with Ellie. I might be able to get it afterwards, though. I unfortunately missed it.
Dang.
Rowan told me you were coming. I still owe him for all that.
So doing that saves around 10 seconds or so, which is fine.
Let me introduce you to my ladies.
So I'm gonna pick up a side quest. It's gonna skip some dialogue, and it gives us a chance to get a really good Jacob shotgun as well.
We also need to complete the quest, obviously. All right, go.
So right here we actually soft lock Tina. We complete the quest too fast; the game can't keep up. So we have to travel out to fix the soft lock. So in doing so, we travel to Bloodshot Stronghold so we can do another side quest.
Yeah, there's a quest in this area that only spawns after you've done the mission story for this area, so no matter what, we have to come back. So we just do it there because we have to come back anyway, and we have to travel out there.
While that's happening, I have a couple of bosses to kill as well. And it's another quest that only spawns once you finish it. A lot of the quests are like that. You visit an area in the story, and then you unlock the side quests in the story. So I'm able to kill them really quickly. Well, Desep goes for the out of bounds again, because we have to go back through Bloodshot Ramparts.
I hit the good version this time. I did it.
Nice.
Hooray.
So that trick he just did there is called...
So.
Nice.
So let's jump there. It's called Super Skip. It's very super and very skip. Requires a double nade. There's be 2 more double nades throughout the run, right?
Yep.
And they're kind of just, you throw 1 grenade vertically, melee a few times to get the timing correctly, and then you can boost yourself using 2 grenades instead of 1. I just expect him to not buck up. That's an issue, isn't it?
We'll hit 13. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we do it 13. You've been saved this time.
We'll get,
We hit 13
bargains,
in
I
this
guess.
area.
Yeah.
So this is another RNG type quest chain that we have to do. We have to get these Varkids to pot up and mutate into adults, and by doing that, we.
I got one.
Nice. I got one too.
Oh,
If you can kill fast enough.
I might be able to get a second.
Look at that.
I have.
It's RNG whether these pop. I can get. Okay, I got one.
I have 1.
Oh, you can leave. You're good.
So it's RNG whether these Varkids pot up, and if we can mutate them. Did I get a Jacob sting for that? No, Jacob sting. And while that's happening, they need Varkids to spawn. I need buzzards to spawn to get hits of metal. So they finish that, and then while all that's happening, there's that shotgun quest that Unjust is doing as well. So this is another area where spawn locking can go really, really poorly.
Just buzzards now?
I have one. The second one landed in a place I can't get to.
I got a quad.
Nice.
I can get a 3rd. You can grab those 2. I got one. It's easy.
Okay.
I'm good whenever. One's easy.
Go.
Not too
All
bad.
things, not too bad. All things considered.
Not
Yeah.
too bad.
I like the synchronized. Not too bad.
That one's always kind of a nail biter because you can just get really unlucky and everything can go wrong there. So it's real nice that we got that.
Don't worry. If Jack really wanted to.
So here's our next boss. We gotta fight Wilhelm.
Push back.
Nice. Anyway, he's dead. So really hard.
Holy hell, Jack doesn't stand a chance.
And so we're supposed to go to Sanctuary after this, but we need to go to the Sanctuary gate, and with Gage's move speed, it's actually faster to travel not to Sanctuary and just run to Sanctuary here, so that we're right at the gate.
The quest objective also breaks sometimes if you travel straight to Sanctuary, so...
Day 2 on Pandora. Wilhelm nearly defeated.
So right here, I played an Echo, one of those Echoes I've been hoarding. This I played the second one to interrupt a line of dialogue, and then I played a third one to interrupt a dialogue. Basically, this achieves something we call a sequence skip, which is basically just when you get a really high priority line played on an Echo, and so basically this Echo there's supposed to be a whole bunch of quest dialogue playing, but we gave really high priority to this line of dialogue here, and so it's just kind of skipping all of that. It's kind of really weird the way it works, and not worth explaining. But that's the reason we got Maya Echoes at the start of the run, is because it's just one long, uninterrupted piece of dialogue that will just skip everything. Whereas the other characters' Echoes are they have back and forth, and so it won't work in the same way.
They do have their uses though.
You're in?
Cool.
They do.
Do you dupe the quad or?
No.
Drop it then, so it's easy
that's
can.
fine.
It's easy go to... Oh. But
In fridge.
I need a different gun. I need... Thank you.
Just trade guns really quick.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the skip that we just did actually a massive skip. There's supposed to be a long in-world cutscene that plays right there of Sanctuary teleporting away to protect it. But if we travel out at a specific time, we skip that entire cutscene. It's one of the earliest skips that have been found, and saves a whole lot of time.
And then here's just a little bit of cleanup in this map. I need to deliver mail. I think that's what it packages. That's what it is. And Unjust gets to go kill Doc Mercy. This is one of the newer-ish reroutes. We used to do this, or we used to do the packages part all at the first time we're here when we're getting the fast travel. But we need to wait for Angel to open the door to the fridge. So best to just do it there instead.
5 years ago, I tricked Roland and his
Take a quad.
I told them it was to
Drop your shield. So starting now, we can do a glitch called Buck Up glitch. Gage, this is another reason why I will be playing Gage. She has a skill known as Buck Up, where basically it's this little blue beam being shot at ZZ right there. Whenever your shield is below full, my action skill, Death Trap, you will try to restore your shield using that little blue beam. But if you leave an area while this blue beam is activated, the game doesn't remove it, basically. And so you have it constantly. And so the game is constantly trying to recharge your shield. And this effect can stack and can be transferred to multiple characters. So it's one of the main reasons why I'm playing Gage is just because it's really good survivability throughout the entirety of the run for all characters in the game.
Gage is just kind of the perfect culmination of everything we'd need in a speedrun. So it makes her really, really good as a host character. And now coming up is, again, a big skip that was found that shaved multiple minutes off of every single run in the game, which is going to be Overlook skip. So we're trying to get back to Sanctuary since Lilith teleported it away. So how we're going to do that is Angel's going to send us a new fast travel station that has the new location programmed, and Jack's going to try and stop her and send a whole bunch of enemies and waves to try and kill us to stop us. But to get the fast travel station to the right place, we have to deploy a beacon so that she knows where to send it. This beacon can get destroyed by the enemies that are sent out, as you can see right here. Traveling out also destroys the beacon. But if this beacon gets destroyed 8 times, it turns into an invincible state. The game basically takes pity on you and says, you're having trouble keeping it alive. Just focus on killing the enemies and we'll keep it alive for you.
I love that.
But if you save quit whenever you're at this state or travel away as we're doing, the quest completes.
Incredible.
So it's a little tedious because we're just kind of sitting here waiting. It gives the gauge time to give buck up stacks to the axons, which is really nice. But at the same time, this is still far, far better than the actual wave fight itself.
Yeah, this may seem slow that we're traveling all the time, but even with real time, it's way faster than doing the wave fight.
So we have specific timing for when Unjust travels based on where I am in running, so that we get the check mark as close to the travel as possible. So I think we have about 2 or 3 left still. So it goes by slow, but in terms of actual time, it's not that bad.
Yeah, the section used to be around 6 minutes, I think, before or something like that, and now it's much less. It's about half
It's
that.
3 minutes RTA.
Yeah.
Which ends up being like 2.5 in game.
I love hearing the heyo before the travel.
And I think we're going to get ready to take a break after this all like unfolds, right? Okay, sweet.
Yep.
Yes.
So we got the check mark. We'll travel back into Overlook, and then we'll
It'll magically
get
be
ready to
complete.
take the first spake.
The fast travel has
So
landed.
we have a fast travel station. We're not going to take it yet,
Sanctuaries
so we can take the first break, but should be good to take the break.
All right, awesome. We'll pause the timer and just want to remind everyone we still have, plenty of this run to go. And thank you to everyone who in chat who has been answering questions. We'll probably give another explanation of why we were going so fast when we return. That's definitely the most common question I've been seeing. It's fun to watch. But, stay tuned. We're just going to go to a short break. Then we'll watch the rest of this Borderlands 2 co-op run. So stay tuned, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to It's Dangerous to Go Alone, a show all about cooperative speedruns. We're in the middle of an awesome Borderlands 2 run with some just incredibly talented runners going as fast as possible, faster than intended through this game. Before we get back to that run, just want to remind everyone, you can check out Games Done Quick on Instagram to see bite-sized clips from our Hotfix shows and see what happens at the events. The Instagram has a ton of stuff on there, lots of reels of fun gameplay clips that we have, so be sure to head on over, give the account a follow if you use Instagram. And your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on our Twitch channel help support our daily Hotfix content, so please consider subscribing if you are able to. But yeah, we're just about ready to get back started with our run. We got ZZ Rules, Unjust Action, and Deceptics. This has been a blast. Y'all ready to keep going?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're ready.
Sweet. Well, feel free to count down whenever you're good.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, go. So we're gonna travel back to Sanctuary now. We have a fast travel that has Sanctuary now, so we can travel back. This up now has the really, really good gun that we have, which is gonna be
Finally,
really
so
important for
far
this next section.
Yep. So one of the frequently asked questions that I've been seeing at least is asking how we're moving so quick. One of Axton's skills is expertise, which gives you move speed while you're aimed down sights of your gun. If you drop your weapon while aimed down sights as an off-host player, the game gets confused, and we keep our movement speed forever, pretty much.
Good. Sorry.
I love
So we
it.
picked
I
up a
just
whole
love how
bunch of-
fast you go. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's the main draw of co-op in this game. Everyone really loves running really, really fast as Axton, and there's actually a mod that, since this is single co-op only, there's a mod that was created that sort of emulates the effects of it, so that you don't need a partner to do some of these fun glitches.
Okay, anyway.
So Decepticons had a little mishap there.
It happens. Car combat, while not in a car, believe it or not, is difficult. And I know it's shocking.
So we're doing 2 side quests right here. One, we're going to start a clan war. No big deal. Everything's fine. So that's what Decep and Unjust are doing. Oh, I know that us. That's fine. And what I'm doing is kind of the main story quest for this area, except slightly different. There's a couple instances of that, but basically I just need to kill 6 cars again, like we did for the story. And this is where getting that shotgun in the previous area is really helpful, because it's a non-level shotgun and it just obliterates the cars. I just need one more. There it is, I got one.
Yeah, and this is where the run really starts to pick up.
Now slap that Zephyr emblem down.
So the clan war quest has us going between the Highlands and the Dust a lot. So this is the time where we just kind of knock out a whole bunch of that, because one of the quest rewards for this, one of these quests, is a really, really good guaranteed Jacob shotgun. So we progress the quest until right before we're able to turn that in, and then finish the story so that we get to the part where we can turn it in. So, you know, this is one of the, we call it overlook cleanup, just for lack of a better way of describing it. But this is a part where we take a break from the main story and just knock out a whole bunch of side quests at once.
I messed up the parkour. I'm gonna be a little bit late. Sorry.
You're fine. I saw chapter 4. Yeah, with all the side quests, all the quests we're doing at once, dialogue overlaps each other a lot, so dialogue is never going to be the same in any 2 run that we do, which is kind of funny to.
The dialogue is one of the fun parts of this run, is getting to hear the new dialogue each time.
Yeah, who needs any glitches or move speed or damage or anything, just dialogue. So, quick detour to another side boss enemy. It's really the only other thing left in this area. Like we were here for the main story, and then we're here for one. Hey, sir.
Go.
And then we come back here for this boss, and that's about it.
Boss.
Boss. So, Zep's gonna set up another car warp, because Gage needs to be back in Sanctuary, Overlook, for more of the mission lines we're doing.
And while we're pretty much, most of the routing is keeping the host player, the Gage, in a confined area, because they can't move as quick as us. They can't traverse the area. So ZZ and I are gonna run around this like entire huge map, collecting, getting different collectibles that are in like random corners, while Unjust stays in a pretty confined place to be able to actually get things done.
It's one of my favorite movement sections. Not necessarily any of the tight corridors like some of the previous ones, but just like 20 seconds straight of running, which is really fun.
Drop whatever yesterday. I had a
Yep, dialogue.
Yesterday, I had a good hustle.
A few more shields and I'll be able to build us a defense shield out of the parts. I was a computer engineer before
So
Overlook's old
right now we're assisting Overlook in trying to keep them protected from Jack, which is why I just had to carry all those shields so that they could make a shield for Overlook. And I'm just out of mortar that we're gonna fire at them to test the shield.
The best way of testing the shield.
Best way of test. Trial by combat.
Yeah, either the shield works or you don't need it anymore.
So part of the reason that we have the 3 characters is just because of how much we can split up. You can split up a lot more by than with 2 people, but 4 people also makes it so that enemies just have way too much health for most of the run.
Sorry.
The two accents let us divide up a lot.
Now, let's try that with the shield
now?
on. Hey, cutie. Got a job for you. Why don't you stop by my place after dusk?
And now. Go. So here we're just playing quests to skip dialogue and then having a traveler to skip some animations. And then we're gonna travel right back in.
We get to meet our best friend Mick.
Yeah, so
Our best friend.
this whole section right here is basically time gated by one dude walking into a certain room. And for some reason, every other person in this room loves to body block him. We're good. That was literally
Never
perfect.
mind. Nope. No.
That could not have been better.
Yeah.
That never happens.
We swear, everyone likes to body block him. I don't know why. Of course, now Mick will make us look stupid.
And everyone in chat will attest to how much Mick can screw up our runs.
We've
he
lost.
Probably knows more about Mick's. He probably knows more about Mick's movement patterns than pretty much anything else in this game. Which
We can go. We have lost multiple minutes before simply because people have body blocked him for that long. And that was immaculate. So yeah, that's kind of funny.
so back to the dust to keep going with the clan war. Please tell me you have a fire weapon.
Moment of truth. I hope I do. I kept a green sniper in my inventory the whole time, so
Okay.
we're good. We're good, guys.
Let's go.
Don't worry.
You remember the
I
run.
kept the fire gun. All right.
This is another instance of we need a fire gun for the mission that they don't give us one.
And I really like to get it out of my inventory because it takes up space. Anyway, it's fine. However, I should say we do need a duping sniper.
Yes. So the sniper that we have right now is good enough that it's not going to kill our accuracy that much. But we want to get a sniper that'll actually improve our accuracy. So we've been looking out for one the entire time.
You see, normally I'd say it won't kill our accuracy that much, but we got a double guns, so
I think it's the first one since we found it, figured out more about accuracy too.
go.
Which is funny. So we kind of crashed a race as part of the clan war, and then traveled to this area, which is there's some areas that just have one side quest in it. This doesn't even have that. It has one mission item.
There we go. We're done.
We're done with this area. Technically, if you take too slow to kill Warden in Bloodshot Ramparts, then he takes Roland here. But other than that, it's a really odd area that was put in me. But anyway. So, back to Overlook. Oh, I don't need to turn that on, right?
You remembered. Let's go.
I remembered. And then this is another area in this quest chain that kind of has a little bit of downtime. We have to wait on one NPC to move. So Unjust is just kind of tail him. It gives, if we don't get first try RNG, then it gives Giuseppe and I a chance to catch up on getting some of our duping stacks in. There's a weapon. Sir, I'm stuck. Okay, we're good. Still no sniper.
Yeah, my Mallow one was also Jacob's stock, so I can't dupe that.
Oh, nice.
We can't even dupe that for the accuracy. Whatever.
So Unjust is gonna trail the bagman, and Giuseppe is just gonna come blazing in to help finish up the quest.
I'm just gonna do the hard work.
It's really fun seeing Unjust in the distance, just like jumping on your screen. It's really funny.
Those little gauge
Boing.
legs try so hard.
My feeble little gauge legs.
Go.
Yeah, he'll get a skill later on It's one of Gage's skills, where you get a kill, you get a little bit of move speed. So it'll be using that a little bit later, but he doesn't get it until level
17.
16, 17, 18?
17.
Something like that. I don't know.
15 plus
Gauge or
1 because
something.
of anarchy.
True. So we just have to finish up this testing the shield, and then we'll be able to progress back to the main story.
To fight nature will
And go.
eat him. Sounded much more poignant in my head.
Please fire the cannon again.
Okay. So we finished that. We're back to the main story. And this is actually one of the really interesting reroutes that have been done in the past year or so
Man's gotta protect his business.
for co-op. This is another area where we have sections that are completely blocked off by something. Before it was just invisible walls. Now it's one big wave fight that we have to do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be on one side of that wave fight. This up is going to do some out of bounds to get to the other side of that. And oh, if I do too much damage.
Quad moment.
Yep, that's too much damage. We're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
There we are. We're good. Okay. So this up is going to do the out of bounds to get Unjust Death Warped over there, and then they're going to split up in that second half to speed things up a lot more.
Yeah, so pretty much I did it out of bounds and hit the final save station in the map. So we're at the end of the map already. However, there are still some triggers we have to hit, unlike Bloodshot Stronghold. So I'm going to do another out of bounds to get back around and actually hit the triggers that we need to hit, while Unjust goes out of bounds as well to get ready to hit the cutscene trigger.
Yeah, typically you
And
ride
all that.
this elevator down here to get into the boss fight at the end of the map, but all players need to be there for it to work, so I have to do a little out of bounds to get here.
I hit triggers, but just hit my trigger beforehand, which allows them to do
Whatever.
their stuff on the other end.
In a fit of extreme paranoia, I hid my notes on the opening of the vault and promptly forgot their locations. While I grind my teeth to dust in frustration.
And so typically
You're good.
what you'd have to do is do what Deceptix is doing right now, picking up that feather, and then you'd have to run to where I am now to start this cutscene. But doing the out of bounds like we did means we can just hit both basically one after the other.
So ZZ hits triggers, I hit a trigger, pick up a feather, and then just instantly starts the cutscene, which skips. If you were doing this solo, that's like 2 minutes of running, at least.
It saves
And
2
you
minutes
can
from the
help
old
us
co-op
Skip all
route,
that.
Yeah.
so it saves even more than solo.
We can kill enemies really quickly. I didn't pick up the echo. We can kill enemies really quickly, but we're time gated by how fast they spawn, and they spawn really slowly in that wave fight. So being able to just completely skip that saves a ton of time.
But you gotta beat Bloodwing down. Do what you can to save her, but if you can't, she's got what we need to get into control Core Angel and grab the vault key. That's what matters.
So while Unjust does the Bloodwing fight, ZZ and I are going to pick up echoes for a side quest in this map. And ZZ is also going to run back to the fast travel so that we can leave right as we need to.
I require one more effort.
One thing I'll be doing during this fight is I'll be spamming jump. Basically, if an enemy has a spawning animation and you start jumping during that animation and then just keep spamming it, so you're jumping every few frames, enemies can actually track you and they'll just stay stationary. So that's really useful to make sure Bloodwing can go down as quickly as possible. Play Mordecai. Actually, I'll do
Get the
it.
minimum. Okay.
Yeah, just go.
I won 2 prizes in Marcy's Underdome.
Okay, that was
I don't remember which quest it was, but I remember that I was supposed to change we made like yesterday that I was supposed to be able to play that.
Yeah. Anyway, Bloodwing's fine. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
Bloodwing's just fine.
Hey! You found a customization station. You can use this to change your appearance and reset your skill points.
Great. Take this note to 1,000.
I gotta.
Going to deliver that.
More quests that we're getting in Sanctuary.
Dust.
Dust, thank you.
If you're looking for the spot, that's where it'll be.
We all know they're out at some
Except for
point.
this travel. No, we don't
Except
know
for
this
this
travel. This one doesn't exist.
This one is really
Although
weird.
there are a lot of people that probably don't know about this travel. There's a travel to the dust over here, which no one casually should ever be using, really. But it's really helpful for the run because it puts the gauge right in front of an NPC that doesn't exist yet. That gives a couple of quests in this Claymore mission. So Unjust can plop his gauge legs right in front of the NPC while we run over to progress it. This also gives us the shotgun that we were talking about earlier. We get a triquetra, which is guaranteed. It's a really, really good shotgun. I think 19 pellets, always spawns, always going to be on level with us. So if we can get a run to this point, we can finish the rest of the run with just this shotgun. I'm destroying these trailers. I need a fire weapon, but it gives me a fire weapon, so it's really helpful.
Yeah, ZZ gets the day off.
So, quick little detour just to get that shotgun, pretty much. Well, we can now go back to the main story with this really, really good shotgun. We had a good shotgun beforehand, but this is actually better.
A gang of lowlifes is out prospect.
Control Core Angel is at the top of that mountain. That's
So, Sip and I are going to run through, and Gage is going to do another death warp to get to the wave fight that's at the end of this map. Over here, and what we've been doing throughout the course of this round is just re-meeting the Borderlands 1 Vault Hunters. And this is the last one, Brick. Who's going to help us in getting to Jack. So to do that, we have to kill all of his men first, so that he joins us. Just casual Borderlands things. Yeah. Just casual Borderlands things. Trial by combat.
That wasn't even me that time.
That time. Lets you know that he's done it multiple times. I would have pulled up. That would have been fun.
I got a 73, by the way.
I got 82.
77.
Jacob stock.
Mine's Jacob stock too. Mine's the exact same as our quad parts.
Dang.
So, last BL1 Vault Hunter.
So what you want?
And he's just in the ground, like
don't
incredible.
Just.
It's normal. It's normal.
Everything is fine.
Everything's fine. It happens sometimes.
That is not the triquetra.
Oh yeah, I have to dupe that, don't I? Here you go. Here's a couple of them.
I'm full. No.
I picked up
I got
two
a
just in
bushwhack.
case.
Wait. Oh. I think my bushwhack might be better, actually. I don't remember which quest I got it from.
From Stalker.
Yeah. So, we met Brick, and this is just a whole bunch of wave fights after each other, where Brick has to run through. NPCs run really slowly, so what we do is we travel out and travel back into the area, and he teleports to the next part in his path. So it's something that technically might not be faster real time, but saves a handful of seconds in game time.
Probably about the same real time.
83 by 15, so it's not better, actually.
Better.
Not better.
Did you get one, though? One.
I got, no.
2. 3. 4. 5. Go. Cool.
Yeah. So there's a set number of spawns, a couple triggers that we have to hit, and then we can travel out and teleport him forward.
Awesome.
I'm at 77, so I'm fine with whatever.
I did drop you one. It might still be in the, what are they even called?
Arena?
The moonshot crate? If you have time to go there.
Oh, in
the
the
moonshot crate. Yeah.
I think you get launched out of in DPS.
Okay. 1.
Thanks.
I don't know why I'm counting these.
Gotta appeal to you.
Put it in TPS terms, easy, you'll know it. It's cool.
So I'm doing a side quest while Decep is killing for the story.
And I'm hugging Brick to make sure he doesn't move.
Wow, he didn't move.
Typical friendship things.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
Moonshot. It is. Oh, there. That moonshot. Not okay. Whatever.
No, yeah, not the one with the trigger. Is the other way. Yeah. You understood. We got there. You know.
I found it. It's the important thing.
Go.
All right, so this area coming up is an area that takes about a minute in the any % run, and it's one of the longest areas in the co-op in the all quest run.
Keep plugging that boost.
Great. Take that.
Go. Yeah, but first, before we go to that area, Claptrap has a birthday.
Happy birthday, Claptrap.
What? Happy birthday.
He wants some friends to join him for his birthday, so...
Home movies.
If I can find it.
Jack's broadcasting at
So as you do, you go to the bar to try and find your friends.
telling them to imitate that big ass.
Sorry.
You're gonna show them what a bad idea that really
I hit the wrong button, my bad.
Happens.
So let's invite some of these bar patrons.
Alright, let's see if they want to go to the birthday
Hell,
party.
yeah.
destroyed my underdome after I dumped
Hey, you want to go to the party?
You wanna go? No? Okay.
They like really don't want to go to the party. Jeez.
Get out to
Okay, yeah.
opportunity and kill the construction foreman who's running.
It's
That was
actually
very
good. That might
mean.
not have worked.
I traveled a little early, just a little bit. Yeah, we'll try and
so
find
that was-
some more friends later.
It was part of
That didn't work
the...
out.
Yeah, it was part of the clan work quest line. But just kind of fueling the fires of that. So anyway, opportunity is next, and it's an area that is almost entirely time gated by one single quest. If we can nonchalantly complete every other quest in here, but we just kind of have to wait for
To breach the final
a constructor to traverse the entirety of the map. So Unjust is going to make his way to get that constructor.
Oh, he dropped a key. Every key fits in a lock, sugar.
And we're doing some of the other quests in this area while we're waiting for that constructor.
You found a constructor. Just boot him back up and he ought to treat
And we just have to wait for this constructor to get from where it is to every single one of these statues that are throughout the map. There are a couple ways that we found that actually can speed things up, which I'm setting up right now.
Serious moment.
So yeah, right now we're just waiting
gonna-
for this constructor to get to the first statue. And basically the way the only way to speed it up basically is if you clear all the spawns at the statue before the constructor gets there, and then again once the constructor arrives. For some reason, the constructor thinks it's done cutting the statue, even though it's not. And so it'll kind of move towards the next statue while it's still cutting the first one. Don't know why this happens, but it saves time, so it's really nice. It saves a very considerable amount of time. It's much, much slower without this.
Yeah, we definitely notice whenever we miss one of these, because we just lose a handful of, like 20 or so seconds, 20, 30 seconds just out of nowhere. So we killed all these enemies, and now the constructor's just kind of
Cutting the
leaving.
first statue.
his laser beam still exists. It is still cutting. You can see it's cutting, totally.
Yeah, it's...
But he's making his way to the next statue.
Baby shaking for him.
So, well, he's going there. He's definitely finishing cutting this. And he finished cutting it. And it destroyed the statue. So, since he's already at the next statue, he starts cutting it immediately. So, we're going to do the same thing in this area.
The praise of his underling.
We killed the enemies beforehand. Now, whenever the constructor's here, we can re-kill.
Jack's voice.
Did you know that some people on this planet still believe in silly superstitions like angels, demons, and agents?
Then once I kill this constructor,
This
No.
is going to work. If I get a few more samples,
Hello, friend.
I get to kill the constructor.
I did good. I got save frames. So we killed all the enemies and he moves away to the next one. We can only really do this with the first two. The second one we can sort of do something with it to a lesser extent. There's a wave afterwards that if we do this with, then he'll start moving before we kill the wave, when he's usually supposed to wait until we finish killing the wave to do so.
just activate a few more keys.
Oh my god.
Oh, my
My God.
Ruby's dog grip.
Oh, I dropped mine over here.
CZ, don't worry. We
dog
got a
grip as
duping
well.
sniper.
We did.
Don't you worry. We got.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you should be scared. You should be scared. You want to
I'm
guess the
so
parts? You want to go for it?
It's dull grip.
Give your best shot. All right.
It's gotta at least be dull grip. I think yours is dull
Okay.
grip too. On this.
Mine is dog grip, yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, it is.
So it is it's what I like to call perfect, minus the fact it's green. Anyway.
Oh. If that's the only bad thing, okay, whatever.
So-
That's fine.
Oh, I fell.
I have a feeling our accuracy is gonna be fine.
Okay, can I have said sniper?
Well, no, I want to dupe it. Yeah, fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'll dupe the dull grip. Ruby. So, Constructor finished his next one, and he's moving already. We're supposed to kill these enemies first before he moves, but he starts moving beforehand, which only saves about like 5 or 10 seconds. Not as much as any of the others, but definitely really helpful. Yeah, so something that we didn't really mention about duping, we mentioned it a little bit in that it can transfer implicit weapon stats onto a character. We've only been doing it with crit damage to this point, but one of the weapons we got from one of the quests is the Ruby, which is a Moxie weapon, which heals you for a percentage of the damage that you do, which you can also dupe onto your character. So now, just by duping a handful of those, any damage I do, or any damage I take, I can be healed by damage that I do.
Pretty much get full healed because we're doing so much crit damage anyway. You hit a crit
awesome.
once and you have all your health back.
Oh, that's actually really good.
No, it's flat off grip. Best, it's best barrel, best grip, best stock.
And best accessory.
It's just, like, I wasn't joking.
We've been talking about it a little bit. Every weapon manufacturer also manufactures the parts for said weapons. We're not gonna. It's super complex to explain, but certain parts are good and certain parts are bad, depending on the weapon.
How much is it a swing of like, oh, if you get the best weapon versus the worst weapon, is it like a ton of time difference, or it's like not something you're super worried about?
It just affects the damage more. For this, it affects the accuracy.
Okay.
But it's more like the damage that our shotguns are doing are vary just based on the parts. So Unjust got like 73 damage on his, and Giuseppe got 82 damage on his.
Got it.
About the extent of it.
In
but
this
it's part of the
category,
reason-
it doesn't make too big of a difference, but in other categories, it very much does.
Sure.
Get ready, by the way.
I'm not ready. Okay, Unjust.
It's part of the reason why 4 players isn't faster,
I did
is
the
because
same
we
thing
need.
again.
Go.
Sorry. Don't go.
Oh.
Go ahead, knock down
I'm
the
just
last one down. I've already got a great idea.
Now that you're done with that bot, it's time for some fun. All done. 3.
Testing.
You
Testing. 1,
go.
2. 1, 2. And now I have the voice of a douchebag.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, we did
Don't
it.
worry about it.
It's part of the reason why 4P isn't as fast, is because enemies have such high health that we have to change the starting gear to worse gear, just so that it has enough damage to kill the starter enemies.
So now it's party
it's
time.
amazing.
I'm leaving the party though. I got stuff to do.
But,
No time to party. Sorry. Sorry, Claptrap.
yeah, I'll hang with Claptrap then. I'll actually celebrate Claptrap's birthday next one.
What'd you think?
Of the party? It's great, Scooter. That's totally what you're referring to, right?
This is it, everybody. Lilith, Mordecai, you're protecting the
Okay, I actually have to leave that too.
So yeah,
this will be
basically, this is just a timed quest where basically you have to sit here and wait for a certain amount of time, and so we just kind of do a little bit of cleanup throughout the sanctuary map while we're waiting here.
Sanctuary in case this is just another trap. You'll get your payback.
Which is kind of perfect because now that we have a good duping sniper, we can fix our accuracy a little bit.
Stealing the vault key and stopping Jack from waking Warrior. All you have to do is get past the force field that'll atomize you, destroy a bunker carrying enough firepower to level a continent, and get through a door you can't possibly open.
I get some nice pizza.
We're probably gonna die. It's time to get Claptrap to 1,000 cuts. We need him to shut down the force field.
Make it painful, guys.
This is gonna be fun!
We were talking before the run started about like the route changes that have been going on throughout in this category. I want to like summarize a little bit of like what changes we've seen over the past couple of years with like what do you do differently?
The only happiness I've ever had.
Unjust and Decep can probably explain a little bit more. There are a lot of some of the out of bounds that were done both in Southern Shelf and in Wildlife. That's the cue to go. Thanks for telling me, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Some of the out of bounds that were added a little earlier were they weren't really attempted. They were known about for a while, but they were a bit more difficult. That they weren't attempted in runs. So these mad lads just were like,
started doing them. Yeah,
we're just gonna do them.
Gotcha.
And a lot of them were found for the any percent runs, where while we were picking this run up, the two of them were picking up the 2P any percent run, which is a phenomenal run in its own right too, and just getting really, really good at that and applying some of the stuff that they were using, those two out of bounds to the all quest runs too.
Yeah, so we went through pretty much the entire route. One of the main things that you've seen, you died too early, were quest skips. We went through the entire route, figured out what quests we have, when we can play them, and just like when we should use them, when we shouldn't, and then like when we're doing certain quests. Again, like when we were delivering packages earlier, while we were waiting for the fridge door to open, Wildlife, that reroute. We kind of completely rerouted when we do the entire end game. So we'll bring that up when we get there, because that's a pretty big one.
You still don't have your spawn?
We don't have a gauge, so
yeah,
we're waiting a little bit.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm trying my best.
You can
I don't have any bots, so.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of times throughout the run where we just try to get Gage to the combat so that we can speed things up with that close enough skill. This one being one of them.
Yep.
And then with all the route changes, the amount of time it saves from when the previous world record holders had a record, it's probably, I'd say, around 6 or 7 minutes total time save with everything in totality. So it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is
quite a
just
bit.
new discoveries as well.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit of time save, just like 7 minutes and a 2.5 hour long run.
And it's really cool with like games that have been around for a decent amount of time to still see discoveries and improvements happening, which is awesome.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
especially this was like almost a complete reroute when it came to quests.
Yeah, and some other things, just taking a look at what quests are happening in the area and figuring out which quest specifically is the time gate, and trying to optimize that one quest as much as possible. There's one area later where I'm doing one of the quest that is the time gate, and I was taking a quick detour before getting to that quest. So we just changed it so that this up is doing that detour instead, so I can start the quest faster. So even slight things like that, the speed, save about 5 or 10 seconds in some areas. So this area is the bunker. It's the we have to kill the turrets to protect Brick's minions. The turrets spawn completely randomly, so it's just a matter of trying to see where they spawn and kill them as fast as possible. Turns out the bunker's not a place. This is the bunker now.
Will the bunker cooperate?
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out.
So the bunker just has these random patterns that it can do. We can manipulate it a little bit to where we stand changes where he flies into. Where we stood right there isn't necessarily the fastest cycle that we can get, but it's a much more consistent one than any of the others. So we take the consistency over some of the speed.
And then while they're doing the
everything's fine.
actual boss fight, I did a little out of bounds, and then at the end of the map, typically after the boss fight, there's an elevator. Here you have to ride all the way down, It takes a while. I just go to bounds and sit at the end of the map here so we can leave just a tad bit quicker.
Bunker is not being kind.
Bunker is not being kind.
Bunker?
What is he?
Bunker's doing bunker things. That's the way I'll put it.
Yeah, basically everything about this is kind of RNG. In solo, it's a lot worse because the turrets before the actual boss fight are their spawn is random, like VZ said. In co-op, it's not too big a deal because you have super speed. But in solo, it's a huge deal because you have to actually get to where the turret spawns.
Nade. Yeah, so that cool out of bounds that I just did allows us to travel a little bit early because he gets to move the elevator back up. You're supposed to move back down, but it can't tell the difference between going up and down. So as long as you hit the button, then you're good. So.
Then we just do a couple travels to skip some dialogue.
And a massive cutscene.
And a cutscene, yeah.
Yeah, just a small one, you know, just a minute-long cutscene or something.
So this is the part of the run where it just kind of slows down a ton. This is a 5-minute long wave fight with spawns like these that take as long to spawn as these spawns. Again, there's some things we can do to speed it up. Mostly to do with skipping dialogue and manipulating some NPCs, but it's a long area that kind of we can sort of do to fix our accuracy, but that's about what we can do in this area.
Just gonna steal
you
that.
can only really speed it up by doing the some quest skips to skip a bunch of dialogue. That's about all you can do.
It's right there. I didn't steal it. Nope. It's definitely not in one of the generators. I did not drop my shotgun in the generator. I would never do such a thing.
Decepticons underscore.
Hey man, don't make fun of me.
So famously in Borderlands speedrunning, Amaryllin has a bounty out for this. It's been like 6 years at this point that it's been out for.
Can't stop believing. You never know.
So the what we have to do for this area is we have to break these 3 iridium injectors that are supporting Angel. Which plot twists, spoilers I guess, for anyone that's watching that hasn't played the game. Angel's a siren. She's not just an AI or anything, and she's the one that's helping Jack do everything. So she's sacrificing herself to try and stop Jack. So we have to kill these 3 injectors, and Amaryllin's bounty is if you can figure out a way to bypass any one of these injectors, we don't have to kill it, then you get $50 applied to all 3 of the injectors. We don't have much faith that it'll get. It's possible. Gearbox does a really good job of coding the main quest. The area that we get to after this point in the story, we can actually access the final boss arena immediately, but we can't do anything with that. We have to do all the quests leading up to that before we can actually take on the final boss. So they're really, really good at coding those main story quests.
For anyone thinking they might want to try and looking into this to get the bounty, I would strongly urge against it. There's been a few people that spent quite a bit of time looking at it, and basically everything's turned up with nothing. But, you know, knock yourself out if you're feeling optimistic.
So we broke one of the injectors. Just waiting on the other 2. Unjust is going to start, actually, the first NPC manipulation soon.
Well,
Did you already do it? You already did it. Never mind.
Another one.
yeah.
It's this one.
A fun thing that we found somewhat recently is Roland follows the host character through this entire area. It's not something that we noticed immediately, but just out of like habit of trying to like push Roland, we found out Roland just follows the host, so he'll be running to the areas that Roland needs to be at, so that he's just there already. We don't have to spend time waiting for him to run. So he needs to be right here, so Andres is just staying right here.
Well,
and
it's
then
on
here's
vacation.
a little tiny bit of
RNG.
Lilith's supposed to take Roland here up to the last injector to open it. And she can kind of just like wait around for like 5 to 15 seconds if she wants to. Quite annoying because there's not much you can really do to change it.
Alright, so we're at the last couple enemies. So it's not too bad. It's much faster in co-op just because crit damage and super speed. But Giuseppe and Andres are going to do another sequence skip like we did with
Okay.
like we did whenever we entered Sanctuary with Willem's Core. We actually take one of the shortest quests in the game in terms of dialogue. It's just a couple lines, and we transfer it onto Maya's Echo to sequence skip it to skip 2 different lines of dialogues that take 2 different quests in 80% runs.
It's not much to go on, but it's something.
Go.
Maybe if I find this vault, I'll find out where the hell Siren
And I think right here is where we're going to take our second break, right?
I think we were going to do after info stuff.
Oh, no, right, yeah, sorry, yeah.
So we traveled out there, skips a long cutscene, and as you might expect, we're not supposed to be in this location. But by death warping, you actually get put at the fast travel, so that we can just leave.
Yeah, I should probably. I think I only have. No, I have 2 backup. Thanks.
2.
So Roland's fine. He's just gonna be chilling out with Angel. Nothing wrong. We have monster mission to dialogue. And BFFs.
Talk to Moxie?
Yeah, that works.
Sure.
Right.
Fine. Okay, so here we're.
Do we have BFFs?
Yes, we have BFFs. We're finishing up the clan war. We really only did the clan war up to getting the shotgun because that's all we cared about at the time. But now it's time to actually finish up the clan war and finish up some of the other quests that are in the dust.
It's fine, McNally. He may have left me for dead, but he doesn't deserve what the pain will do to him. Nobody does.
So Unjust is driving to the final showdown for the clan war.
Driving. Imagine.
And
then we're going to side with the Zaffords, despite how much we would be perfectly okay with just siding with the Hodunks instead for how much Mick loses us time. There's a glitch that can happen where we can't turn in the... Oh, we didn't finish. There's a glitch that can happen where we can't turn into the Hodunks, so we have to side with the Zaffords.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it loses us a ton of... If we were going to swap but to the others, because Mick actually has a crit spot on his model, so it's technically faster to kill Mick, but Mick's closer to the travel usually, and there's a glitch that can happen if we don't do it. XP relic.
Yeah, it's just not worth risking that.
Yeah, but it's also really convenient that the clan war finishes right next to this side quest area. There's no story importance to this area. It is just a whole bunch of side quests that we have to do. So it's convenient for us to do it right here at this point. One of the quests Deceptix did in the last area gave us Moxie's Embrace, I think is the name of the Endowment. Which gives us extra XP for combat. Our next big milestone that we have to hit is level 25. So having this equipped just gets us level 25 faster. So this area is really neat routing-wise in terms of dividing and conquering. We're kind of split up in 3 separate areas of the map, doing all the different objectives of the different quests in here. So Unjust is robbing a bank. I'm getting him the supplies to rob said bank over here. So it's a fun routing area. So I'm gonna keep this friend with me.
Dude, you finish so much faster now that Unjust grabs the bounty board. Oh my god. It's crazy. That also means I don't have to sit and wait. That's like really good.
Yeah, reroutes from yesterday.
Tongues.
So we're also going to be raising a a pet. And to do so, we need to defeat him. So that we have to kill some skags to get some tongues to feed him. So 2,
3,
4. Oh,
5. We're good. That was really good. I killed 3 and got 3. That's crazy.
Ironically, the one that I keep alive didn't give me one. That's another RNG. It's not nearly as bad as Name Game that we did way earlier with the Boymongs, but it's fun. The drops are random, so. Oh, I didn't bury my.
Which one? Yours?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not burying dirt this time, right? I'm actually burying money.
I just actually forgot to bury it. It wasn't the game glitching out.
Okay, anyway, there you go.
Thank you.
So I've been working so hard at raising this skag that I just become it. Normally you have to lead the skag throughout this entire area and lead it to its new home, but I can just hit all the triggers myself. And then Unjust is sitting where we need to clear out their home. So there you go. We led Dukino to his home. As you can see, we led Dukino.
You severely expedited that process.
Yeah, and the quest is done.
Nice.
Yeah, basically the game thinks that you're the skag, and so you hit the triggers that the animal's supposed to. It's weird. Basically, you become the dog.
Oh, we're good on parts.
Yeah, I saw that complete.
Want to get a Sliga?
Yes. It's just getting the Sliga.
Sad.
It's not a Sliga.
So the game used to be you driving out of the way, but now it's us trying to dodge you. That's what the game is now. All right, cool.
I have a bit of time at the start of this map to just kind of screw around, so I kind of try to just do fun stuff with my car, and it's always
9 times out of 10 you get in our way.
It's easy to avoid me. Yeah.
Go.
So we're going to Sawtooth Cauldron, which
we're supposed to get to this area, but the bridge. Rose, you can go. By the way. So we're getting explosives as you do to go to the next area. So Sawtooth Cauldron. It's quite the area. It's a difficult area in just about every category for various reasons. There's a lot of enemies that are in really tight corridors. It's a part in the any percent run where you're really, really underleveled. And for Geared, it's just really difficult movement too. This part is difficult in this area because it is another RNG quest. The quest I picked up, we have to find buried treasure. So to find buried treasure, we need a map for it, and enemies in this area, just in this area, drop map parts that we put together to make the map. And it's entirely random whether they drop them. So we can get them in 30 seconds that we've gotten before, or we can lose a lot of time to having to kill extra enemies to try and get these map parts.
Yeah, I think the worst it's been for us is we spend an extra 3 minutes after we've done everything else in the map, just clearing spawns, trying to get the map parts. So it can be really bad. So this section is just like pretty infamous in all of Borderlands 2 speedrunning.
I want to be clear about something.
And here you can sort of see more about the spawn locking that we've been talking about throughout this run. There's supposed to be enemies that spawn in all of the... While this is all happening, we have to raise these generators to raise these flags. And we can't leave the area, otherwise the generator breaks. How it determines that, I have no idea. Or how that would work logistically, I don't know. But there's supposed to be enemies throughout all of these. I don't get a single enemy.
Oh no.
Disep and Unjust get them all, so I just kind of chill for this area.
Nice. That's such an interesting thing.
Yeah, the spawn locking is really weird.
And routing around that seems like a challenge.
Yeah. But yeah, throughout this map, I'm actually going to use an E-Tech weapon, which is actually a mission item because we need to kill 25 different bandits with it. It is a very low-level gun. It does 42 damage. For reference, the Gwen's head we picked up about like an hour plus ago does more damage. The only reason why I can actually kill is because I have the crit damage that I have. So it makes the quest super easy. We used to do this quest at like later points, and it was really awkward to get done, and it lost a lot of time, but I have nothing else to do here, so we just rerouted it to this point.
And we got all the map parts, so that's really nice.
Good.
So usually it's not a huge deal. If it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. But
Yeah.
more often than not, we finish before you would finish the area naturally. So, really, really helpful.
It's fine.
I guess sometimes I get enemies that there are buzzards that spawn that try to go to them, but they get locked onto me, so they attack. So I guess that's when I get some enemies. Okay, so I was able to start my generator first. So my generator's finished. I break it, and now I can finish the main story. Since I am able to before any of them are. That elevator to the top of there, and there's actually a quest that's really annoying to do solo, because you have to ride this elevator to pick up the quest. Quest item is down below there from the start of the elevator, and then you have to ride back up to get to the other elevator. But with co-op, because we have shared pockets somehow, I can just pick up the quest and wait for Decep to pick up the item for it, and just never leave the area. So I'm going to pick it up so that he can pick up the quest item, and then do the story, and then once the story's finished, I'll turn in the quest.
There's your beacon.
Did you grab the children one?
Thank you for the reminder. I changed where I grabbed that, and now I keep forgetting about it, so...
Dude, collectively, we remember they're out.
Yeah. Bandit's not having a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Because I think he was under the thing.
That went pretty well. that's the way I'll put it. That went really well, actually.
So we're getting our explosives, turning in the quest that's up here. And then we'll... no. Yeah.
Well done.
Nice.
Nice.
That went really well, yeah.
And now we are off to the Arid Nexus, both parts of it. In the old route, we used to do part of Boneyard and then leave, because we're about to hit level 25, which was our next kind of level that we needed to hit. And so we used to take a detour and do some other stuff. But instead, we're going to stay confined to these maps and just get them done while we're here, or mostly done while we're here, which saves a lot of travels. The 5-second travel timer and the blue tunnel kind of rack up time each time you have to go through them. So a lot of the late game rerouting was based off of how many times can we remove us traveling because it's so slow.
So this is actually a really quick area with 3 people. There's 3 different pipes that we have to overload, so each of us get one. And then we can go to the next area. We also have to, so we're overloading these pipes so that we can ram this pipe with a car, so that we can make it to the next area how we're supposed to. So I'm totally going to
ramming
hit
the pipe with the car.
I'm definitely touching the pipe.
Yeah.
The car just has a massive, massive hitbox, so. They're in this area, and then we're gonna do some of the side quests while we're waiting for the story.
Robbed my Uncle Teddy and sent him to die on this armpit of a planet. I need you to search his cabin in the Arid Nexus for something I can use to avenge him.
So we split up. Unjust actually, if you're familiar casually, Unjust is doing the quest for the Lady Fist, which is usually really broken in current patch, but it's because they buffed it in later patches, so it's not nearly as good. Which is part of the reason why we're not going to be using it. We can get parts on it.
And we can get parts.
I'll give you the first gun my uncle ever
Hey.
gave me.
So where we're at the story at this part is actually almost the very end. We have maybe 15 minutes of actual story gameplay that we need to do. But we still have a lot of side quests that we have to finish. So we're going to be doing a lot of those. We're actually going to finish some of these turn-ins, and then we're going to go to the next area and take our next break. Because the game is actually going to break wide open at this part.
The last segment will just be running full steam ahead to finish everything up, right?
Yep, and even more so than usual.
Awesome. Is there a specific quest you have to end on in this category, or does it not super matter?
Nope.
Okay.
It ends on just turning in all the quests. So we're going to pause right here, actually, before we go to the next area.
All right.
And we just got a really, really broken gun that is going to break the game wide open, even more so than normal. So stay tuned for after the break to see how incredibly broken this ends up getting.
Yeah, I am super excited to see our third segment of this co-op run. It's been fantastic so far. You know, thank you to everyone in chat who's been answering questions, asking questions. I've loved this run so far. We still have more to go. And, you know, also, if you came in partway through the run, you can catch the entire VOD on YouTube. The Games Done Quick YouTube has all of our hotfix videos on there. So if you want to watch the rest of it, you can watch that once it gets put there. But stay tuned. We're going to take another break, grab some water, and we'll be right back. Hello everyone, and welcome back to It's Dangerous to Go Alone, all about co-op speedruns, and we've got Borderlands 2 all main quest run
So sad.
or something happening right now. What are y'all up to? What is going on here?
We're
High-fiving.
Oh, I see.
You know, the normal way you high five people.
Oh god.
Oh, Deceptus has triumphed. Oh.
I am victorious.
GG.
This is co-op, I promise we're working.
This is the epitome of cooperation. I don't know what you're talking about. We ready to jump in and see the result of that cliffhanger you left us with?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we
are there
are.
any announcements you need to make beforehand?
No, I think we're ready to just roll right into it. Let's do it.
Ready? All right, we'll start with the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So the weapon that we just got beforehand is called the Evil Smasher. It has a fun property in that every time you reload it, it has a 7% chance to explode and buff all of your weapon stats. If you swap back and forth, then you stack that 7% multiple times. So there's some math, there's some statistics that you can do with that to actually get... Oh, don't run away. This is fun. You can do to see how many times you actually get a proc. But this turns, you can stack this all onto your character by swapping it back and forth. So you can see Decept's launcher is running a lot faster than it should be right now.
So it's doing a lot more damage. I don't think it should be doing 222,000. You know, that's a thing.
Details. So the way that we have this routed for this slaughter is, I guess you die.
No, I'll survive.
Wow. Okay. The way we have this routed is Giuseppe and I get not as great of a smash. We buff our stats a little bit while we do this first wave, while Unjust gets a much better one. And then once he gets a really good Evil Smasher stack, he'll start taking over and just see how incredibly broken it is with all of these buff weapon stats: increased damage, increased fire rate, increased accuracy, reduced recoil, increased mag size. With all of this combined with Gage's close enough skill, Gage will obliterate every single enemy that's in sight.
So as you see right now, my shotgun is 73 bullets in the mag, normal amount. Fire rate's also a little bit buffed. It might be kind of hard to tell the difference considering it already was a machine gun, but now the accuracy and everything is also much better. And so I can kind of just flick my mouse around and everything will die. Again, one of the main reasons I'm playing on this character is for this section specifically. Because this is just a bunch of wave fights just back to back.
Yep, there's 2 of these, and there's technically 3 of these in this patch of the game. One of them is a DLC one, though, so we don't have to do it because we're only doing the base game. But so there's 2 of these that we have to do, and this gives us a good time for us to get really good smashes, so that we can just obliterate all enemies in the rest of the game for the rest of the round. And this is really important for the last quest that we're going to end up doing. I don't think I've seen it as asked in chat, but there's a final raid boss in the game that is level 50. They didn't scale it to normal mode. That the game has 2 different playthroughs, and it has the health of the final level at the second playthrough. But it's a quest that we have to do in the base game in the first playthrough. So doing this normally would not be possible without it. A lot of the early runs of the game before this glitch was found were just all the quests except for this one quest, because it just wasn't possible to do without this glitch. Which led to, whenever it was found, it was in a 101% at the time, because previously it was 100%. So I'm getting a much better Smash than either Giuseppe or Undus did, because I'm going to be the main one killing that final raid boss. So I'm trying to get mine as high as possible without crashing any of their computers, which is really, really important. So mine is good enough now. And now we just have a couple more waves of just obliterating everything in sight.
Yep. This is pretty much what our damage and our fire rate, whatever. This is what the rest of the run looks like. We have it for the entirety of the rest of the run. Thankfully, it's not just slaughters over and over again, because that would be that would be boring. But
yep.
Yeah.
But part of the routing with when we do some of the quests also has to do with getting the Evil Smasher gun. For some of the quests, if we look in our quest login, which I'll do after I respawn, we have a lot of quests that we still haven't finished yet, and a lot of those we were delaying until we got this glitch, because there's a lot of wave fights and mob clearing that we have to do that are just a lot faster once we have this glitch.
It also just makes everything easier. So.
Those are also a lot of the quests that are kind of out of the way, and there's nothing really locked behind them. They're kind of off in their own areas, so we just do it when we have all the damage and whatnot to help with that.
And then one other optimization for the slaughters is I kill myself while in the slaughters, so it puts me outside of the arena so I can turn in the quest as soon as it's possible to turn in. Slight optimization, but one regardless.
What's the fire rate on your launcher?
1.1 or 1.4.
Can you share that?
Yes.
Please.
I would like some of that. Thank you.
Roxy, don't worry about it. It's normal.
It's very normal.
Yeah, thank you.
It is flat off. Did you grab one?
Yeah, I did.
It is flat off barrel, so increase fire rate.
It also is flat off sight. Oh, you know, that's a little bit faster than what I was using. Yeah, just a little bit.
What does it say?
It's also green, so.
Yeah, so
it's pretty green lights.
Giuseppe and I swapped over to launchers. Gage is still using shotgun because close enough is incredibly, incredibly broken, as we've established. But Giuseppe and I don't have close enough, so we actually have to aim to kill enemies.
Kind of.
So instead, yeah, kind of. So it's why we're not using shotguns anymore at this point. So instead we use launchers that have really high splash damage, so that we can just kind of like, again, do the same thing, just kind of flick our mouse around, and the big explosions will kill enemies.
A little more precise than the Gauge, but, you know, not really that difficult.
Yeah, the only difficult thing is trying not to down ourselves on terrain. Although that one was more or less intentional.
Was it?
Well, I did tell myself anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that's how we'll just call it intentional. Yeah, save yourself right there.
So for some of these big mobbing sections, we'll use launchers, but we usually have a secondary weapon that we use that doesn't kill us whenever we fire it. So, you know, important details. How do you want to gunner?
That's useful, man.
More fire rate, let's go.
We haven't talked too much about class modes because they're important, but they're not important enough for us to lose too much sleep over. We're generally looking for fire rate buffs to our character, which leads to 2 specific class mods. Gage has a pump class mod, which boosts just her fire rate.
Selfish Gage.
Whereas Axton has a gunner class mod, which boosts team fire rate.
Selfish.
Very selfish. So,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and then Anarchist is the other one that's not terrible to have for Gage, so it just kind of boosts damage overall.
Roboteer,
we'd
like I
both
have
fire
now,
rate.
is not bad, just because it gives me
Yeah,
fuel down rate so I can get more backup, but not a huge deal.
yeah. They have their uses if you have it, but nothing that we'll go out of our way to get usually, unless it's a punk or a...
They make much more of a difference than 80%.
Yep. So we're on the last wave of the slaughter, which is really nice. Once we get our stacks, it kind of drags on a little bit.
We're done.
But it's really important for us to do this now so that we get our stacks that we need.
Thank you, Decepticons. I appreciate this.
You're welcome. Yeah. You can see,
So if
right?
my cold prints are quite rude, I don't get to see anymore.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Vision. You don't need it.
I actually
Honestly,
don't,
not
because I
really.
can kind of just like look at my minimap and point in the red dots. But
This is true
So no-
cooperation. Just blocking the vision of your teammate.
teamwork at its finest.
I gotta have fun somehow, you know. Gage does pretty much everything here, so
Yep. We help out when we can in getting areas that are difficult for close enough to hit, like behind these stairs or behind these walls. But that's more or less what we can do. The rest of it is Gage. So I don't know when, but can I get that coach at some point?
Oh yeah.
You forgot you had it, didn't you?
apparently
We're
yeah.
27.
Hey, it happens sometimes, you know. So anyway, this time I'm actually going to Death Warp instead of ZZ because I have a better connection to Unjust, so my ability to turn in quests in between ticks is a lot better than ZZ's. So we routed it so that I died on the last one, so that we were able to save a little bit of time with turning in quests.
Go.
I did a run with someone that's closer to me geographically, and just the stark difference was mind-boggling to me. So it's kind of a fun sort of example of how we changed the route based on the setup that we had. So we finished with that. Now we're back to a lot of side quest cleanup. We do the fridge right here because we were there for... Oh, you can't pick up pizza until I get that, can you?
Nope.
So we're here because of the slaughter, so we do the fridge quests right now just because we're here. But it's also faster to do once we have Smasher because of how much killing we have to do. So Unjust is killing a little mini boss, and then Decep is looking for a random spawn. It's guaranteed to spawn, but it can spawn in a random area to pick up an item for a quest after I finish my part. So I have another mini boss, and then I go through this area. You have the echo?
Yes.
Nice. Go.
There's 3 set spawns for the Goliath, but it is RNG. So.
And then more side quests in Runs Defied. I'm gonna car warp Unjust to a certain area, and part of the fun reroute we did with except being a mailman, was also so that we could pick up a quest across town. Pick up a certain quest under dialogue. Tutorial dialogue and Claptrap in general just has stupidly high priority, in that Claptrap is the only one who can overwrite Claptrap. So we picked up a quest in Thrones Valley before that is given by Claptrap, so just ignore all of this.
You can only skip Claptrap with Claptrap, but nothing else can skip Claptrap, so Claptrap talks many times.
Yeah.
Fun fact, we're done with gun parts. Sorry, I'd just like to...
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So dialogue's the best right here, but that's because nothing can interrupt Claptrap, so it just plays over itself.
I love
Because
it.
we played a Claptrap quest, so it interrupted Claptrap's line for the... You can go, by the way. It interrupted Claptrap's line for that quest, because Claptrap is the one talking and giving the... It's a mess of dialogue.
That's beautiful.
But it's fast, I promise.
And that's actually a bit of routing we stole from the solo wall quest throughout. Was that specific quest whip there?
ZZ.
What is your shield?
It's...
Gotta be level 2.
No, it's a 25.
Oh, is there like a Lucoon or something?
Did you shoot
Yeah,
yourself
I
in the foot?
No, I just got... We're
okay.
fine. Everything's fine. My turn didn't work. So this is... We talked about this a little bit earlier. There's one quest here that's a time gate. I have to push a minecart across the entire map. So I was grabbing the quest and then going to the minecart. So instead, I just blitz it to the minecart and just picks up the quest.
Yeah, have fun holding W for the rest of the map. I'll see you in 3 minutes when you can stop holding the key.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the minecart
really fast.
does not move faster because we move faster. The minecart has a set speed that it can move at. So even though ZZ could theoretically just push it instantly, that's not how it works, so.
You see these little green bubbles that spawn in the acid here you can get launched up on. I have a couple side quests to do here, but we're extremely time gated by the minecart, so I can kind of just go to leisurely place.
Yeah. This up is really... There are a couple areas where he really wants to route his movement and route what he does to do it as fast as possible, but none of it matters because you can just casually, nonchalantly complete everything else while waiting for one other thing in the area.
Yeah, but being optimal is fun, even if it doesn't matter.
So the minecart has these couple gates that we have to stop at, so the other optimization is just making sure the step opens the gate so that I can just keep pushing.
No spawns? Interesting. Yeah, ZZ has the most fun job in this map, by far.
It's part of the reason that I know very little about this map in terms of the rest of the quest. Because
It's actually the reason ZZ pushes the minecart, is because...
Hey, details.
I'm explaining said details. I'm calling you out. This is what's going on.
Just go fast. That's the answer to everything.
Yeah. Although I have my breakpoint in Overlook, so you know what?
That's fair.
It's fine.
So we push it to the end, and then still have to do more waiting because the minecart has to take this conveyor belt to the very end. And it goes very slow. So we just kind of wait around for that to happen. And some loot. I guess I could dupe that shotgun for you, huh?
Anyway, because I have nothing else to do, I'm gonna go play Minecraft. It's a Borderlands
now a
game, I
Minecraft
swear.
speedrun?
Yeah, I guess so.
He's just strong warping into Minecraft.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
This is normal.
Go.
So we've just spent a whole bunch of time doing side quests and nothing but side quests. So we're gonna get back to the main story for a little bit here.
We got main story to do. Exciting.
Yeah.
Such a low.
And we're gonna go back to the main side, some side quests.
All right, I need to do a couple more side quests now.
Oh, you were right. That was a short diversion. Now back to the quest.
Conchop has to run all the way to the door, walk to the door, and it's slow, so we just travel out to teleport him to the quest. But also lets us do side quests in this area.
Oh, sorry.
Menu.
And this area is really fun and actually has the most recent reroute. From an out-of-bounds we found 3 weeks ago, maybe?
Something like that.
This is another side quest only area. We have to kill 4 mini bosses and pick up echoes.
And you can only move on to the next
sirens.
one once you've killed the previous. However, Unjust is going to do a neat little out of bounds. I'm going to pay attention to his screen, which allows him to go to the final assassin before you're supposed to. However, the assassin still spawns and still drops the item we need from said assassin. So Unjust can do it beforehand, before we're actually able to get to that side of the map. And it saves like
Go back now.
30 to 40 seconds. It's crazy.
Typically, you have to wait for the third one to be done until you can do the fourth one. I'm good. But we can do the fourth one and the third one at the same time. Oh, no, you go, sorry. I killed Roof before Decepticons killed Reese, so I don't have the echo. We have to come back.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
That's a little awkward.
I should have area traveled.
The travel should be there though, because yeah. Right.
So we can soft lock sometimes, but usually either safe quitting or traveling in and out usually fixes it.
Hopefully they spawn in again. Guess we'll find out.
Should just be there, right?
No.
Yeah,
no. Safe quit to fix it.
We'll come back later, yeah.
Yeah. Which is fun.
Oh well. That is alright.
So, quick detour there, and then we're back to the main quest.
For real this time.
For real this time. This is unfortunately
I'm not getting baited. All right.
Unfortunately, this is another area that is massively time gated by one quest. That quest being the story quest. So I'm gonna get there as fast as possible to start the story quest as fast as possible. And then, while Unjust drives here, once he gets here, he's gonna take over the story quest and just, again, kill everything really quickly. While Decep and I are gonna work to do the side quest in the area.
When you finish the main quest, is the credits gonna roll, or y'all avoid that somehow?
You'll see.
We avoid it.
Okay.
We'll see whenever we get there. It's
Cool.
not too long. It's 15 minutes or so.
The
15
credits
or 20
you
minutes.
can just skip. However, there is a cutscene that you can skip. However, it can mess it up. But
Got it.
yeah.
So this is an annoying quest line in that you pick up the quests on one end of the map and Decep does it on the other end of the map. My map's not going to fill in because I haven't discovered everything, but you can see those are the objectives, and this is where we pick it up. So it's really, really helpful having more than one person that runs really fast that can do all this stuff. So I'm also going to finish one of the other side quests just because I'm here.
Activating additional door defenses.
Now customer service is done.
Refunds? My God. I'm never drinking the rack ale.
Dispatching additional troops.
Marcus doesn't get to talk.
I have a shotgun for you.
Access denied.
And we're actually not going to finish the quest, or turn in the quest, or I guess finish the quest line, because we're going to use it for some dialogue skips a little later in this area. Guns on the ground, whenever you want. So I think we're just about done with the story quest. Yeah, it's not that big of a time gate. It's a really, really quick wave fight with the Smasher, but it just means we can't optimize any of those side quests.
Funny little out of bounds I can do here while we're waiting for this dialogue to play. You can go underneath the map, and for some reason there's a lava flowing upwards because
Why not?
physics.
Hi.
Hi, stairs.
Stairs. Hi.
Hello.
So one thing we actually didn't mention in the chaos of explaining Smasher is what I'm doing with Gage right now. So you can't bounce on other characters' heads. We were doing it after the first break, but if you try and bounce on someone's head, you're just gonna bounce off. But if a character downs himself, then they can't bounce because they're in fight for your life. So we use that in both of these slaughters to get Gage to slaughter faster than she would run normally.
Yeah, we call that car strats.
Oh, I have a 27 bushwhack too.
Oh, nice. I have
Mal.
that 'cause it's-
Thanks, Mal.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. One other routing thing that we sort of did was change some of the quest hops here so that we can skip the bot here that gives us the quest has dialogue before each round. So if we use a quest, we can skip that dialogue and start the round faster. And it's about 5 seconds per round, which for 5 rounds is 30 seconds almost, 25 seconds. So it makes a huge I didn't throw you the weapon.
You're being greedy.
I duped it, but I didn't throw it. Can I throw it through here?
You can try.
Yeah.
If you angle it right.
Yeah, they try to keep you out, but they don't really do a good job. Like, I can still shoot if I wanted to, but I guess I can't throw weapons. Oh well.
I don't think they expected you to be able to one-shot everything in the area, though.
Details.
You know.
Wait, you mean this isn't intended?
I mean, maybe. Depends on who you ask.
I mean, it is Gearbox, so you never know with them. Thank you, Deceptics.
Yeah, no
Kind of
problem. Gotta keep you on your toes, you know.
And so finally, I can get rid of all those echoes we got in the very first map of the game.
I do have a second.
Day 2 on Pandora.
And this is what we've been saving all of those logs for.
Yep.
Because it just ends up being easier using them to skip. Especially for that first one, we use one echo and it skips the entire 2 different waves. So unlike with the other slaughter, I haven't been helping at all. I've just been doubting myself immediately. Which snipers? What was it? Yeah, that's our sniper. Because what I've been trying to do, which I have failed at because I'm worrying about a shotgun, is just keep duping for crit damage. Even though we have a really good Evil Smasher glitch, we still want a lot of crit damage to kill that final raid boss. So this just gives me time. They can handle everything on their own. This gives me the time to just do nothing but do crit damage.
Yeah, I barely have a job on my own. Yeah. So if we had a third person in here, it's kind of just not needed.
I can help a little bit in the last round, but like it's not.
Yeah, there's like 3 spawn locations that Unjust cannot hit with close enough, at least easily. And those are the 3 spots that I aim at. All right, fine.
There's better weapons that we can use for better crit damage. We mentioned the Lady Fist a little earlier, which is 400% on this patch. There's also a quest that we skipped with Mal right outside the gate has a 1 in 3 chance of giving us one that gives 700% crit damage. But unfortunately, we haven't completed any of those quests yet, so I'm just stuck with base snipers right now, which is one of.
We rerouted it so that we don't do those quests. So pretty much, we made ZZ's life harder without consulting ZZ about making his life harder.
It doesn't make too much of a difference either way, but it's still kind of nice to have if we could.
Is this round 4?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish what's in my inventory and call it a day. We have a really good endgame shotgun, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Do I have everything? Yes. So this song is actually interesting in that it's more waves, but it's faster than the other one. It was 3 rounds, 3 waves, 4 waves, 5 waves. 3, 4, 4.
The spawn animations are quicker in this one because there's no like icicles and doors that need to open.
Yeah.
Which I think is most of it.
So this is the last round. What SMG do you have?
I think that is the first time we've gotten all the dialogue skips for these rounds.
Hey, dude, we're just that good.
We always miss up at least one.
Done
typically,
it.
so
this is the last round. I'm helping out a little bit and just getting these 2 doors, and that's it. And then we're gonna end up doing the same thing we did in the last slaughter. This is the last round, so Decep's gonna be the one that death warps to the top to turn in. I've gotten better at it, so it's less needed now, but I think it's just kind of funny that we swap off. Or I guess I've gotten more used to the connection, that it's less necessary, but it's still funny.
yeah, don't you have to hit an E like half a second delayed to make sure the timing works out?
Yeah, it's... we say that you turn in between ticks, but I start my turn in like on the tick or before the tick. It's it's wild, and it's taken a ton of trial and error to try and figure out. And it's different per map too. Some of the maps that just have less terrain and less things to load,
Just less entities.
or
I guess.
less entities to load, that I have a better turn in for. So it's it's a lot. But so last couple spawns.
Is it super important to be gaining levels at this point, or not really with the
Nope,
equipment
not
you
at all.
have?
No.
Yeah.
Not
I
at
was
all.
like, I see y'all leveling up, but I don't know how critical it is anymore.
After level 25, it's
past-
pretty pointless.
It's completely meaningless past 25.
Nice.
Even our builds, like we get the base skills that are needed for the runs, expertise, close enough, stuff like that. But after that, it really doesn't matter what we spec into.
That's funny.
Go.
We this up and I just spec into a nuke so that we can nuke our friends. That's how important our skill tree is. Go.
I was waiting for a go. I was literally staring at the travel. I just like tunnel vision.
We're pro at communicating. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the main quest. We're actually gonna finish the main story right now. I'm gonna run to the travel over there. Decep's gonna turn in some of the side quests, and we're actually gonna get the gun that would have been really helpful to use beforehand, but whatever.
I got a crit fibber. You want to use
Yep,
it?
that would have been really helpful.
That would have been really helpful.
So this area has really, really cool movement that Decep's gonna do. So watch his screen right now, and we'll see if he gets it. I'm gonna do a backup just in case he doesn't get it though.
The key's nearly charged. This world is gonna end.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool.
There's an invisible plane out in the middle of a death plane that for some reason we can use to jump off of and cut a like really weird corner. Yeah, anyway, that's yours, pass.
We cut that area in half. It was like a 40-minute split beforehand, and 40 or 50-minute split. Now it's like 25 seconds.
Your greed and your hatred. It
Because the alternative is, that might be fine. The alternative is we have to do a grenade jump to get get over a wall that we can't get around and do a little bit of parkour. Or we can just run to the end.
Or we can run. That
Or we
works
can
too.
run. What are we gonna pick here, y'all?
But before I cleanse this planet for good, I'm gonna.
So this is Jack, main antagonist, and he's dead.
He's dead.
Are we just beating the main antagonist for the first time?
Yep. So he's
In
been
person,
communicating
yes.
with us in person. Yes. The way the story starts off is we met Jack beforehand, and he just kind of like blew up the train that we were on, and we were left out, which is where Claptrap met us. So throughout the whole story, the NPC's been, oh, you encountered Jack and you lived. Wow.
Gotcha.
But this is throughout the story, he's been communicating us. He's been calling us essentially and just gloating. But this is the first time that we're finally actually meeting him. But it turns out he's not actually the main boss of the game. This is the main boss. This is the vault that we're in. He was charging the key to spawn the warrior. This is actually the main boss. He has a couple different phases, a couple different cycles he can do.
Hey, warrior. Bye, warrior.
Or he can just...
or my launcher doesn't work. And
or he can
bye.
just die.
Goodbye. Anyway,
he still
that's
has a cycle. You kill him, and then a couple of the enemies, the bosses in the game, have a what we call a death cycle, where you actually get them to a certain amount of health, and then they go into their phase where they can actually die. That's what he's doing right now. With Smasher, it's very, very trivial in killing him that quickly. So that's the main story of the game. We still have a lot of side quests that we have to finish, though. And actually some side quests that got blocked. Right now, Lilith is captured, so we can't do any of her quests because we can't turn into her. So finishing the story unlocks the rest of the quests. But there's a cutscene that plays after we finish the story that we're going to try and skip right here. I'm going to the right area. So just like what we did do with turn-ins, there we are. So we unlocked the last playthrough, we finished the story, we hit the key, and we traveled before the cutscene hit. So we just skipped the cutscene.
Yeah, there's like 3 different ways that can fail based on your timing, and 2 of them are okay, and 1 of them is very, very bad. But luckily we just got it perfectly.
Easy. So we're back in Wildlife, and if you remember back when we were here the first time, I'm doing the same exact skip again. The side quest here is again split in half by the long wave fight that we want to skip. So I will be doing this out of bounds once again, just to get on just to the end.
Like if we can kill really quickly, but just the spawns take so long to happen that it's not worth doing the wave fight anymore.
Do I need the echo?
No.
Okay. So again, I'm at the end of the map. I'm just going to do a little bit of backtracking to get to where I need to be, and that'll skip the whole wave fight again, like this episode.
It's also where spawn locking can go really poorly, so I'm trying to clear spawns so that we can get what we need.
We should use that somewhere. Or it's a backup, I guess.
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 different quests that we can't use because there's no need to use them.
I want to see a bloodbath for what they did to my bird.
Go.
Nice.
That went really well.
That's
another new reroute that we've been doing the out of bounds for a while, but we haven't been doing it for that quest.
It was kind of like a aha moment. It was like, wait, we've been skipping the wave fight previously and saving a bunch of time. Why don't we do it again? And
that was super
saves
cool.
like a minute.
Yeah,
Again,
wow.
It's crazy.
That's
it's crazy.
huge.
Yeah, and it was just sitting in front of our faces like the whole time.
Right, you just hadn't thought to do it, and now it's like, wow, how easy. That's great.
Easy to
Those
do.
kind of reroutes are the best.
Yeah, the idea was that it's fast enough to clear the wave with Smasher that it's not needed. But then we actually tested it, and it was faster. So, more side quests. We're doing this has some really weird routing in that we kind of like hand off what we're doing between each other. Not for any particular reason, just because that's how it was. Just how the roles ended up being. Like I start the wave fight here, and then Unjust takes it over. I pick up the dynamite, and Decep's gonna rob a train. You know, like as fun does.
Yeah.
And I'm
the
at a tea
Pandora
party.
way. We're gonna rob a train the Pandora way.
Someone also did not get a fire gun. I'm gonna take it.
I have a
It's
fire
not
gun.
my fault.
You want a spare one? I
Yeah.
have a second one.
Yeah, I have a fire gun. I can
You
hit.
don't need
I
it.
can hit the one that ZZ hits
Okay.
if I need it.
That's fine. Yeah. That'll work out.
Anyway, we're robbing the train by blowing it up. So I'm gonna put some dynamite on the safes.
Better idea. Put the rest of Tina's explosives on those safes and watch.
Fleshstick, let us discuss current affairs.
Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!
Well, that was
8, 9, go.
Sanctuary.
Yep, just give me a sec.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I believe in you.
Yep.
Yep.
We're good.
We started by getting blown up on a train, and now we blow up the train.
So we're back to Sanctuary. We have to pick up the end game, the raid boss quest, as well as a couple of others for some of the
You're good.
mission
What am I doing?
paths.
I don't know.
We're fine.
Somebody needed to tell him.
So we had to make a quick detour to Sanctuary. We're back in Arid Nexus. Part of the route we did before getting Evil Smasher was doing all these quests beforehand too, so that we do them all with Smasher. But part of the reroute was just do the 80% part and then come back for all the quests later.
The insanity of both. It's okay to be impressed.
Hold. Oh no, my second wins are gone.
Oh,
No, this is fine.
I believe in you.
Maybe. Spawns. Oh,
You
I'm
good,
dead
CZ?
here. Never mind. Let's go. Wasn't even close. You need to grab the Echo, by the way,
I got it. Yeah, I know which one.
in the other spot. All right, cool.
I'll travel, I guess.
Don't mind me rocking myself in the foot. You go whenever. Cool.
That's not something that happens too often. Usually we have our own set objectives of the quests that we have to do, but more or less we know what the others are doing, so that if something like that happens, we can sort of hand off.
Yeah, with 3 people, it seems like, you have enough flexibility and recovery to, you're not going to have any major time loss if something happens.
Got that one.
There are times where we will, especially with some of the out of bounds sections. But more or less we can figure stuff out and adapt on the fly.
Make it work, yeah.
Okay, that's what
Just watching you rocket jump with that black hole that's far too underleveled for you.
Hey now.
So I was waiting for that dialogue skip. Oh,
You need to play quest. BFFs, it'll skip it all. You can go.
that dialogue skip didn't last long enough. That's my bad. I was trying everybody to stop rocket jumping with a black hole.
Rocket jumping.
No, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, no, the quest was too short.
No, it's because it was Zed, and Zed talked for Spyco.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, but I wait for the dialogue skip so that it usually doesn't happen.
Enjoy the Hyperion XKCD experimental weapon.
So we're actually getting close to the end of the run. A lot of this cleanup is really, really fast. Go to this one area, finish this one quest, and then move on. And even faster with Evil Smasher.
Thanks for scaring
I feel
me.
Yeah,
Were you failed
overall,
that quest
how
on
would you
purpose?
say this run has gone, for a no
Unbelievably
reset
well.
situation? How's it been overall?
It's been really well, actually.
Really
Yeah.
good.
So well. This is one of the better runs we've had in the past few months. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad. From my perspective, it looks like most things are going pretty well. So
Yeah, a couple of hiccups, but we have that with most runs. So, this is one of the last new areas of the run where we actually have to do some quests. Thank you.
Sorry, I had to. I saw the slime barrel. It was in front of my face.
So rude.
perfection.
So, so anyway, one of the other questions that we usually end up getting for the Axtons is why aren't you scroll shooting as well? One of the answers is because we need both of our scroll wheels to do weapons for crit damage, but also one of the other ones is our accuracy doesn't work whenever we do it. You can see our crosshair and where the weapons are firing are way below where they should be, so it just makes hitting things way more difficult. But for this upcoming, the raid boss that we're going to go to here, we need the fire rate, we need the crit damage, we need all the stuff that we've been building up throughout the entirety of the run to kill it. So this is Terramorphous Peak. Terramorphous, the raid boss of the base game. Level 50, and we are level 30. The game has damage reduction, so enemies that are higher level take reduced damage, as well as you just using lower level weapons as well. Since we're so underleveled, Terra takes 10% of the damage that we do. So that's why it's really important for us to get Evil Smasher and to have all this crit damage. So it takes a little while for Terra to spawn. Sorry.
Yeah, that would be a big issue if not for all the, things you've been stacking up across the run.
Thank you for the Duke. I appreciate
10%,
it.
geez.
Yeah, it'd be an issue. But
and that's Terra.
Raid boss. That's Terra. He's gone.
Instead, you blink and it's over.
Pretty much. So we're actually just about done with the run. We go back to Sanctuary and do a couple turn-ins, as well as finish the Assassinate the Assassins that we did earlier. I'm also setting up a different glitch that we haven't used at all this run. Sanctuary first.
No.
Unless it respawned already?
We're going to try and see what happens. It's been 20 minutes, so you never know.
Maybe.
Should I say to start, I guess?
Yeah, say at the start and go to... that was okay.
Oh, hey, the door's closed. Wait. Oh, you need to clear spawns. You need to clear spawns. I'm spawn locked.
I'm on scroll shoot still. Whatever. Scroll shoot.
Oh. All right.
So we should be good, actually, if the door's closed.
Yeah, we should be. Yeah, the door is closed, so... The door's closed, the enemies are spawning. We should be okay. Whoa. Okay. I said everything's fine.
Is this a button? Okay, there we are. We're good.
Cool. Hopefully. We'll see if they actually spawn when the door opens. That'd be kind of anticlimactic. Go.
So one of the glitches that we set up beforehand, whenever you're on a ladder...
They didn't spawn.
They don't spawn. Dang. Okay, so that's fine.
Oh, well.
Whenever you're on a ladder, you lose your hitbox. And if you travel while you're on a ladder, then you permanently don't have a hitbox. So what we can do with that is this door that exists, I promise, this door, we can just run through it. Instead of having to open it. It only works for certain doors, ones that have a hitbox that move. But,
time's coming up. And
well, we gotta
do assassinate.
We gotta do assassinate. See ya.
So
We'll be back in a sec. You gotta save quit.
Finish the quest.
Save quit. So, unfortunately, save quitting, we lose all of our glitches off host, which is why we haven't save quit in the past 2 hours.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Assassinate or Southpaw is a really low-leveled area, so we shouldn't have much issue.
Unjust could probably... I'm still on scroll shoot.
I'll do it.
So we lose all our zoomies, right?
We do. We are normal speed now.
Heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
Oh, it was fun though.
I guess this is a race. Who can get there faster? Decept with super speed or Unjust doing the out of bounds?
Well,
I'd have to kill everything, so I'm also going to do the out of bounds.
Okay.
Without bug
Makes
out
sense.
and a low level shield. Just going to follow where Unjust goes. Wait, I can cut this corner though. Never mind, I died to my... No, not
Good job
existing
cutting my
shield.
corner.
Anyway, I guess I can show off the Southpaw is just a box. Yeah, anyway. I'm gonna bleed so I don't waste too much time.
I can give you guys a nuke. Will that help?
All right, get ready. It's easy.
To do what? Oh, we have to travel.
To travel.
Like, what am I doing? I'm just silly.
Let go. Third time's charm.
We did it. We did it. We did it. All right,
so
time's coming up like
in
real soon.
5 seconds or so. And
Time.
Nice, GG, great run.
So yeah, that was actually a really good run. Without that little hiccup at the end, that was probably less than a minute off record.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah, that
casual
was- that
10
was
minutes
really
under
well
PB is pretty excellent. Or underestimate is pretty excellent.
Yeah, that was a
the-
really, really good run.
RNG makes it so difficult to provide estimates for that.
Sure.
If we don't get first try RNG with the launcher, if we have trouble with the map parts, if we have trouble with the skag tongues, we can lose multiple minutes. That makes estimates really difficult, but this went really, really well.
Great job. Well, yeah, if y'all want to just go kind of one by one, you know, give your reintroduce yourself for anyone who came in, and then, you know, where people can find you, what you're up to on the interwebs and other places, you know, just go right ahead.
I'm ZZRules21 on Twitch, YouTube, and then 3Zs on Twitter.
And I'm Unjust Action on everything.
And I'm Deceptix _ on everything. Don't forget the underscore. It's very important. You can watch all of us do various different Borderlands runs, whether it be Borderlands 1, 2, TPS, 3. You'll see all the games pretty much being played on all of our channels, various different categories. All of them are really
Solo
cool.
and co-op.
Yeah, solo co-op, all the above.
All the categories. There's Borderlands is a really fun series for speedruns in that no matter what you like, there's probably going to be a speedrun for it. Borderlands 2 specifically, every character except for Krieg is the best at one of the categories.
That's awesome.
No matter who your favorite vault hunter is, aside from Krieg. Krieg has a fun route on his own, but he's
Wrong.
He is
Rejected.
he's a fun route, but aside from Krieg, all of the other vault hunters have their own niche that they're the best at. So if you're a specific character in Borderlands 2 that you really like, there's a category for you.
Yeah, and once again, if you want to learn this run or any of the other Borderlands runs, you can find the Discord at speedrun.com/Borderland or BL2. And then anyone, really, all three of us will be happy to answer any questions that you have while you're learning. If you need help with literally anything, I think all of us have enough knowledge throughout all the games to be able to help you with that.
And there's a whole bunch
Yeah,
of other people there too as well to help you out.
Yeah, with that, I think.
A few tutorials too. But yeah, Borderlands 2 is a fun series to run.
Yeah, this was such a fun run. Thank you, three, for coming on, explaining everything that was going on
Thank you for
through
having
that.
us.
It was so much fun. And if anyone came in partway through the run and wants to watch all of it, the YouTube video will probably be up within a few days. So be sure to head on over to Games Done Quick YouTube and you can see the video from this and all of our other hotfix runs that we have going on throughout the week. Don't forget that speedrunning is year-round. We have hotfix shows every night starting at 7 p.m. Eastern during the week and starting at 1 p.m. on the weekends. You can see all of the shows that we have at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. See the calendar. If there's certain runs you love, like if you love co-op runs like I do, we're every other Sunday starting at 4 p.m. And there's just always something, there's always a show going on that is going to have a game or a genre that you're interested in. So thanks for joining us here on Hotfix, and have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. And tomorrow, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're actually just starting with the second show. We've got That's Never Happened Before, which is a show about glitches and speedruns and how they work. So thank you all again. Stick around for the raid. We're going to send some love on over to another fantastic speedrunner, and see you next time.